Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi, welcome to Season 3, Episode 10 of the Next Dimension Podcast, your podcast that's all about VR and in the future also some of AR. And today I'm super excited because we have super special guest Martin, also known as Sweviver here. Martin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. And hi, Tetiana. And hi, Sebastian.
Back from a very long roadshow, right?
Yeah. It's been exhausting. I still have a flu, so my voice is a little so I'm not in the best shape. But I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to.
You look
make
good,
it
and
sound good.
you also you sound good. So for all of you who don't know Martin Sweviver, he is working with Pimax. He's also a YouTuber, and he has basically run the whole Pimax Roadshow and CES together with his teammates, of course. And he has shown us the goods. Also here with me, I'm so glad to have Tetiana back from Disco VR. Tetiana, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, very busy, but very excited about everything that we saw at CES. I'm just so stoked about 2023 and what it will bring for VR, and just so excited to be back on our podcast. I really miss this.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm so glad to have you back, and I'm so excited to hear from you what you have to say about all the beautiful hardware that you tried. PSVR2, you made a video, and the XR Elite from Vive, and the Crystal too, right? The Pimax Crystal. You have checked them all out, and we can't wait to hear thoughts. And you know what? I have not watched your videos yet, so it will totally hit me. Your whatever you tried there, and your oh god, my English is gone. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning here.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge respect for you waking up so early.
Yeah, right. Also, the show is with me. My name is Sebastian Ang. I am the founder of MRTV and the host of the Next Dimension podcast. I'm here live from Taipei, Taiwan, where it is now like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we are 4 hours into the year of the rabbits, because today was the Chinese New Year's Eve, and now it's Chinese New Year. So for all of you out there who are celebrating Chinese New Year, wish you a very happy Chinese New Year of the Rabbit, Xinyan Kuala in Chinese language. Okay, yeah. Yes, great. So for all of you out there who don't know yet about the Next Dimension podcast, this podcast is live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Berlin, 8 p.m. London, noon in San Francisco, 3 p.m. New York, and 4 a.m. in Taipei City. And well, it's all about VR and AR, and you can also listen to us on all the podcast stations. So on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa, anywhere where you can find podcasts, you can find us. And well, if you want to listen to us, you can also do so. And if you like this show, then it would be amazing if you would give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Simply get out your iPad or your iPhone, find the podcast app, which is pre-installed, find this podcast and give us a 5-star review if you love what we're doing here. So today, with these amazing guests with Sweviver, we're going to talk about, of course, the Pimax devices, the Pimax Crystal that I'm especially excited about, the Pimax Portal, which I am excited about, honestly speaking. but in general, about anything. All the interesting stories that it is a pretty cool device. You will tell us more about the Portal as well. Everything that you experienced during your roadshow and during CES, and also all the things that both of you saw during CES. That is going to be amazing. Before we get into that, first I would like to know from Tetiana. So, Tetiana, tell us about your last week or month that you have not been on the show. What did you do? You were busy going to the CES.
It has been quite a roller coaster for sure, because this was my first ever CES, and I've heard people telling me that it's going to be crazy and very exciting and so many things to see, but it was nothing like it was nothing like I expected. Every day was just filled with walking around and seeing this Disney World for tech nerds. There was just so much to see. And that's what I tell everyone who's asking me, that we only went there to see one little niche of VR at CES, right? But there was so much more to see that we just didn't even have time. But yeah, that was one of the most exhausting times for me. So great way to start the new year, just with a hardcore CES pilgrimage. But now I'm keeping myself busy, just working through all the materials, which is a huge load. But I can see that there is some interest from the VR community to see what has been presented there in Pimax, HTC, PlayStation, of course, and all of those things. So I think I feel much more like a part of this community now that I've been there, because almost
right. It's really a pilgrimage that you have to do one time in your life for sure. Cool.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. Yeah, really busy with that, and actually like really glad that I'm busy with this, because this is the kind of stuff that I wanted to work on. All the newest innovations, now I try them and I get to share them on my channel.
How many days have you been at CES?
3 full days in total. So I believe that there are 4, so I managed to get 3. Many people kind of left on Saturday and I stayed on Sunday. So that was still crazier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be empty on Sunday. No. And they were telling us that the VR presence this year at CES was higher than ever, than last year too. And I wasn't there last year, but those who have, it's like incredible, because there are these 3 huge buildings, like stadium-sized buildings, and each one of them had something related to metaverse, VR, haptics, and all of that. It's not just a little. It's not just a little metaverse stand. There were others too.
Oh, really? So we had to cool.
Run around.
Like when I was there last time, they had like one big hall and everything was about XR. Is it not anymore like this? Like Martin, I can remember like when we met in Las Vegas, it was like in the hall where Pimax was, nearly the whole thing was about VR, right? Was it not like this anymore?
Most of it was in one hall, but some of it was also in other halls. It was split up a little bit, depending on company.
Okay.
And unfortunately, some of the companies were in private suites, like HTC, I think. So yeah, it's not all of the companies were in the main halls, but it was super crowded and crazy, like never before.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I missed it. I missed it, but
yeah, we missed you there too. I thought,
I'll be back. Yeah, I was busy marrying, so it's okay.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Marrying?
Oh yeah. I got married here in Taiwan to my wife again, because we did not get married here in Taiwan. We only get registered in Europe, right? So yeah, we did that here now too. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great time. The bottled water for you.
Cheers.
Coffee
here.
Cheers.
Water as well.
Yeah, but that was really nice, because we got to meet some of the creators that I've talked to forever online. And CS is just one of those opportunities where you see everyone and you put the names to faces or the videos to real faces. And it's always great to connect and just feel like you've been friends and you've been hanging out all the time. It's just one of those days that you get to meet again. Even though it was first time seeing someone, it didn't feel like it.
It's great to meet those creators in real life. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Like last week, Eric was here and Alex and Skiva was fantastic. And I also met them in real life before. And it's just fun. It's great to meet those creators. And actually one of the creators that I met for the very first time in my whole VR career was Sweviver. You were like, I think you were the first person I met in real life, and we didn't even know each other.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Actually, we
Yeah,
have
you knew me.
I have that on video. Actually, I made like a 2-minute video with my phone. I was like,
perfect.
"Hey guys, this is MRTV." I have that video. I
Okay,
sent it
cool.
to you, I think.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, it was in VR days in Amsterdam.
Yep.
1995. No, I have no idea when was it.
2000. No, it was 2017. That was at the
2017.
Pimax.
Yes,
The first time
yes,
I
right.
actually met Pimax in the booth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's why
unbelievable
that
things
was the
happened
reason I
afterwards.
went. Yeah, that was the reason I went to VR days, just for Pimax.
Yeah, me too. I want to see that unbelievable Pimax 8KX, 8K, 8K. I couldn't
8K.
believe what they were saying there. It was really cool. Oh my god. Yeah, I can remember you were there. Yeah, it was. You were there, and then you're making video, and you said like, "Hey, I'm a YouTuber too."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know you until then, but then I got to know you, and it was pretty amazing.
We had like 2,000 subscribers or something. I remember it was like really early.
Exactly. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool, Tetiana. That was your week. There was, or anything else you would like to share with us?
No, I mean, since I came back, honestly, I probably all the content I was even putting up was about the CES or something that I would expand on the PlayStation VR, and just trying to balance out work and life. That's been my struggle so far, but it's been an interesting start of the year, definitely. So
right. Yeah, and glad that you're back here on the show for sure.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah. Okay, Martin. So for all of you who don't know Martin, also known as Sweviver, he is the European marketing director of Pimax, and he is the one who's getting things done at Pimax, which is great. So Martin has organized and like actually put into action the Pimax Roadshow, where people could try out the Pimax, the new Pimax headsets. And one of these stops was actually in Dortmund, in Germany, at my headquarters. So that was really, really cool. So, Martin, tell us, how was your last week like? We're going to get to the roadshow and CES later. Just tell us now, what is your life like now after CES had finished?
I'm still trying to recover, actually. I'm spending a lot of time. As I said before, I still have a flu also, so I'm just trying to recover from that. It's both me and Josh got it. Actually, half of the Pimax team got like a flu after the trip. So yeah, it's been rough, but yeah, I'm getting better. I'm spending a lot of time with my son also at home. He's turning 2 in a week from now. So yeah, I'm doing great, I think.
Perfect. When are you going to put the first Pimax on his head?
They say we should wait until you're 7 years old with VR.
Okay. Yeah.
Another 5 years. I think until Pimax 24K is out, I think.
No, at that time, it's already the 68K.
Break in.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I think in 5 years. Okay, wow. In 5 years,
that's probably Pimax 72K or something.
Yeah, right. But I think, well, at that time, Pimax should be really big already. I know that Pimax has grown quite rapidly. I can remember in the very beginning, there were just a couple of people, right? But now, how many people are actually at Pimax?
I don't know exactly how many it is, but it's in Shanghai. I think it's like 300-400 employees already.
Wow,
we have 4
that
factories
is crazy.
now. Yeah, we started with one small factory. Now we have 4 of them in Shenzhen and Shanghai area, and some of them are dedicated now for the Crystal and Portal. So yeah, it's happening. Quite a lot of things.
Okay, so in 5 years, you have completely conquered the market and are the market leader. Hopefully, that's the plan. Let's make that happen. That would be cool.
That's the plan.
I absolutely root for you guys. Since I love it that you're pushing the envelope. It's really cool. So it's very special. We will talk about that later. Okay, so for you now, it's more relaxing. Roadshow has finished, CS has finished. So you're on a break now for a couple of weeks, or you still have
I'm
to
not
work?
on a break. I have a lot of stuff to do still. I mean, I'm
Do I see
taking care of
Pimax boxes behind of you?
Yeah, there's some Pimax boxes. This is just like 1% of them. I have a lot of things. But I'm also spending a lot of time with the portals, with the crystals, with all of these things, and doing a lot of test overclockings and stuff. So yeah, I'm working full time, even though the Chinese team is on holiday right now.
Right. But it's good that they have some holidays. I mean, the Chinese work very hard, right? Like, so it's good that give them a week or so to recover.
Yeah, they definitely need that, and especially the engineers has been working like day and night recently, and I mean the past months, and also the team which was with us in Europe and United States. I mean, I was really rough on them. So they had to work pretty hard over there together with me and Josh and the others. So yeah, they need that vacation, I think.
Perfect.
And so do I, by the way.
was interesting to see how actually the interest in Pimax kind of grew almost overnight after CES. When Crystal was announced, I remember, I think it was like only me and Sebastian who really covered it on our channels. There wasn't, for some reason, much traction going on. And then obviously the roadshow happened. And I'm like, guys, this is like really promising.
Is great, actually,
It's great. Like, if they really fix those things they promised they'll fix, like, it's going to be an awesome headset. And then people were excited, but still there wasn't much like traction going on. But after CES, when everyone got to try it, and it was an even improved version, you can see it everywhere now. People are covering it, and was brought more to the audience by other creators. So it's a great path. Like, I can totally believe then a year from now the company will be so much bigger.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get as much media coverage as we hoped for during the European Roadshow in the beginning, back in November and early December. But yeah, during CES it was a completely different thing, and of course it's a much larger audience, way more people from the industry itself rather than enthusiasts and people from forums and stuff. But I have to say though that the people, I mean, all the impressions we've got from the first European roadshow, which was going on for like 3.5 weeks, and then the United States roadshow, including then CES. I mean, all of these impressions are so important, no matter who you are and what kind of person actually tests the headsets, especially those enthusiasts and those high-end geeks just like me. I think those impressions are really valuable, even more valuable than some media, I would say, like newspapers and stuff, because newspapers mix headlines, of course, but it's the people
they don't
who actually
understand when they put it on. They don't know what's happening, right? I mean, like, we really know, like, if we see something's wrong, then we'll see it and tell you guys, right? So cool. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that, all the good roadshow stuff later, and CS. So we're going to get to that very, very soon. Okay, so let me also tell you what I was doing here in Taiwan. I was also doing a bit VR, not only VR, but also some other immersive things, which caught me by surprise, I must say. So first of all, I'm slowly getting back into virtual reality. First I had to do lots of things here, like move to the new place, to this place here, go to IKEA and buy some stuff for the background to make it not too boring, right? But now everything is kind of set, so I can start to do content again. And I started slowly with playing Beat Saber and trying out the new downloadable content, like the rock music content. I really, really enjoyed it very much. So I'm going to play that more and slowly getting back into actually playing VR. And, once the PlayStation VR2 hits, I'm going to do that even more, because I'm a big fan of streaming and then getting like feedback from the people, like being able to interact with the people while playing something. And with the Quest 2 and the Pico 4, that doesn't really work so well. Yeah, I don't have a Pimax device here yet, but probably that is going to change. Hopefully, very very soon.
That's something we're working on. Yes.
I don't have one either. Well, I was looking at my wall, like something's missing there. I'm like, what was it?
Oh, yeah. Right. Here, I need a very. Here, there's lots of space here, right? PSVR2 and Crystal. Yeah, okay,
but you have to promise me to put like a VR head and then the Pimax in every single video next to you. I'm just kidding.
Man, if I love the device, I will do that. I'm not shy to tell people if I like something, and I have a good feeling about the Pimax Crystal, so I won't be shy.
I was just kidding. I mean,
I'm going to build like one of these heads with your face on it, and then put the crystal on it. And put
now you got it.
Now I got it. Right? Yeah, right. But let me keep telling you about my week, because there was something very interesting. So being here in Taiwan is very cool, because I also get to visit some companies, and I recently got a message from Acer. It's a very big computer company. And
in Europe, yeah.
Acer actually, no, Acer's Taiwanese. Acer's Taiwanese, and they are a worldwide company. I'm not sure if they also sell a lot to the States, but Acer is a very big company, doing computers, and also they had acquired the Star VR. Can you remember Star VR?
But that was actually announced quite a long ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's long time ago. Long time ago. It was the Star VR 1. It was not about the Star VR. And this part, this is a chapter closed. Now they're called Spatial Labs, and they're working on something else. And I got to see that. And actually, they are selling it already. So I was very surprised to see what was going on there. Actually, I went to the headquarters in Taipei and went to the Spatial Lab division, met the very nice people there, and they showed me very cool monitors, screens that are completely 3D. Like perfect 3D. I'd seen those monitors at AWE, and it totally blew me away at that time as well. So 3D monitors without glasses, right? So you simply look at them. They have some cameras, they track your eyes, and then they send the picture to your eyes, like a different picture to the two different eyes, and you can move, and it stays perfect 3D without wearing the glasses. So that's cool. And I'd seen something like this at AWE, and also with the high resolution, and these were super high resolution, like 4K displays. But the kicker now, something that they had worked on secretly in the past 2 years, is that they have built a program where they can actually let you play your Steam library, your favorite 2D games, and they extract the 3D out of these games and make you play them in full 3D.
That's cool.
It was so cool.
So
it was like... So I played God of War on a screen in perfect 3D, and it super blew my mind away.
Wow. So like no glasses, nothing, and
no
you
glasses,
see
it's perfect 3D.
Forza 5.
It's so amazing.
Gets me thinking about the NVIDIA 3D Vision glasses back in the days. I mean, all those pancake games just turned into something completely different when the depth was there. Like, but of course, that was with glasses and stuff. But yeah, it's really cool.
But now it's like a 4K screen, super high resolution, like God of War, and I could like turn on the 3D and turn it off with one button click, and I was like, oh no, oh my god, I don't want to play 2D anymore. I mean, I don't play 2D anymore, right? I play VR. but I told them, okay, this is like a great compromise between playing like pancake games, which are not pancake anymore, right? Yeah. And playing VR, because some games they're simply not in VR, like God of War. And with that technology, it was just so good. And they had a great catalog of games. Not all games, right? They still had to have their engineers like fine-tune all the games. So what you do is you download their app, and then it finds the games that you have in your Steam library or in any other library, also Origin or whatever. And for the supported games, you click on them and they start in perfect 3D on that screen.
That sounds like Vorpix has the mode where it basically has different
something like
profiles
this.
for supported games that it turns
right,
a game into a VR game, but it also can turn a game into a 3D game on a large screen.
Right. Exactly.
In the headset.
Right.
So, but you don't need a headset, you don't need glasses. You don't need.
It's just like a super high resolution, and it blew me away. I was like, okay, wow. Yeah. And then the thing is, this is available right now. This monitor you can buy now. It's called Spatial Lab View, Acer Spatial Lab View, and it costs $1,099. So it's not expensive.
But did you also have I was at CES? I went by Acer booth the last day when we had a couple of hours, and they had a laptop with that screen, with a 3D screen, which was like super high resolution. They just showed some like butterfly demo on it. Wasn't really any game or so, but I hope they're going to bring like gaming laptops and stuff like that for
they also had a gaming laptop. They had it was called Helios 3000 Spatial Lab Edition or something. So with a 3080 inside, and I was intrigued to say the least. So video about this is coming out on the channel next week, and you can look forward to that.
Cool. Yeah. I'll definitely watch that. So it's not a prototype or anything.
No. You can buy it now. You can buy it now, and it's I certainly want one. Okay. So that was pretty cool. It's good to get a bit out of the VR bubble and to see there's also some other cool immersive stuff without the headset, without the glasses.
That's how I felt at CES.
Without spoiling. Sorry. No, without spoiling too much. Without spoiling too much of your upcoming video, but did it also support like true 3D stuff like movies and like side by side stuff also?
Yes, side by side, everything that you throw at it. And what they also had is like artificial intelligence. It's a thing right now, and they have built an app, and you can put any kind of 2D content there, and it will extract from that depth information. It will like by AI, and you will see it in 3D. So what they showed me, they said, okay, Sebastian, now go to any of your videos. The best would be a video where you unbox something and hold something into the camera and watch it on this screen. And our software is going to artificially extract the 3D depth information out of it, and you will see it in 3D. Okay? I popped on the Pimax Crystal video, actually, and I saw myself on that in really, really good 3D, even though it was not captured with two cameras. And it blew me away what they can do with that AI. It was, Acer. Go have a look at Acer Spatial Lab stuff. You can buy it now. It is amazing.
Wow.
We need that we need that for this device, like a screen.
I
mean, imagine like the 3DS back in the days.
Yeah,
imagine what that can do. I mean, that's for gaming, but also making like trailers for games too, just to see how the 3D will look in VR, like a VR trailer.
For example.
Yeah, I'm all for like 360 trailers, but just a 3D trailer would be even.
It's just and the 3D is not just 3D as in depth. It doesn't just go into the screen; it comes out of the screen as well. It's really cool 3D, just like you know it from the 3D movies like Avatar 2 or what.
I love them.
So it's really cool, and it's affordable. $1,100 for that screen, for that monitor, which even has a battery, and it can run without power for 5 hours. Okay. You see, I was very intrigued. So I'm sure that this technology is going to get to mainstream, just as sure as I was about VR is going to mainstream. But it's not so expensive, and it's just like such a huge value add to have stuff in 3D. Yeah.
But that's just also another thing that people just need to try before they get convinced.
Exactly.
I think. Because you don't understand how
I tried to capture it.
It
did not work. So you have to really see it.
It's hard to make a video of that, I guess.
It's impossible. Impossible. So that was cool. And then 3D. This whole week was 3D. Then I watched Avatar 2, which I like very much. Very nice movie. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh yeah, it's good. You? Tetiana?
No, I haven't. But if I do, I want to watch it in 3D or something.
Yeah, you have to. It's really worth it. It's really a beautiful show.
Avatar, the first Avatar movie was still the best 3D movie out there, and I watched it like 4 times, I think. And I had a 3D TV like a couple of years ago, so I just love that movie.
This one tops that. It's really good.
For sure.
Go watch it.
But does it have a good plot at all, or is it mostly just you watch it for visuals?
Yeah, plot is also good for sure. But yeah, both comes together. It's really a great show. Yeah.
Okay.
Watch it. Okay, cool. That were our weeks. Now we can start with with all the things that happened in our lives, in your lives, especially since I didn't go to CS. You know what? Let's get the juicy crystal stuff and portal stuff more to the end. Let's start with Tetiana, what you saw. Like, for example, let's start with the Vive XR Elite. I want to have both of your opinions about it. So again, to reiterate, the Vive XR Elite is the new standalone headset from HTC Vive. It's going to cost $1,099 in the States, excluding tax. Exactly. And it's a standalone headset, just like the Quest 2 and the Pico 4, but in a very nice form factor, super small, I must say. And it has pancake lenses. It has diopter settings. And in general, it's a very light headset. So what are your thoughts, Martin, about this? Have you checked it out? Have you?
No, unfortunately, okay. I was just too busy at CES, and I had like 2 hours the last day to just check out stuff, and we were just running around.
Well, you have 2 videos to watch. You have 2 videos.
I know. Look forward to them. Yeah. I wish I had time to test all these headsets, including the PSVR2, of course. But no, unfortunately not. But I think it's a good idea. I mean, it seems to be a very potential headset. It serves its purpose, so to say. It's not another copy, I would say.
Right.
I mean, it's not another Quest 2 or so.
Yeah, it's more. Well, it kind of is, but it's like smaller at least, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the form factor.
The form factor is pretty good, right? Right.
It's probably the ultimate reason why people would choose this over some other standalone PSVR headset would be the form factor. That's where they really innovated and did something different that actually might work. In my opinion.
Yeah. You're right. So tell us about your experiences with the device, Tetiana. You have tried it, right?
Yes. Well, I've actually just posted a video about it, so I don't want to spoil it just too much, because obviously I want people to go and watch my video, but I can give you my general.
Please do. No, I mean they will watch it anyways, right? So let's spoil them.
I will spoil a little bit. So first of all, I can totally understand why Sweviver didn't get to see it. HTC booth was like probably the most isolated booth of all of them on the CES, because they had like a suite in a hotel that was kind of separate from most of the fun stuff happening at CES. So you had to dedicate. It was at not even in the Venetian. I mean, it was a hotel, Wynn Hotel, close to the Venetian. So you had to cross you had to walk across the road, enter the hotel it took me a whole hour testing all the demos they had there, and it took me some time to get there. So there is just a time commitment to go and see HTC, but I thought that it was worth it because I was very intrigued by what they were offering. So, like you said, some of the highlights are the standalone and PSVR, hand tracking, pass-through, RGB full color pass-through with depth sensor, which, by the way, was turned off for me.
For me too. I didn't see any 3D, zero. In my demo. In my demo, I didn't have it.
I didn't have it too, and I don't think anybody had it, or unless someone had it. Otherwise, people who are saying that it's the most amazing pass-through that I've ever seen are lying. because
I
it's
didn't
not.
see. It was just like Pico 4. The same thing for me.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I thought. It was very clear,
right.
much more clear and less fuzzy than Quest Pro, like super
Absolutely.
nice. But it was flat.
It was very flat.
And I completely understand that it's because the depth sensor was not turned on, but don't go around and say that this is the best pass-through that you will ever see if you're not even going to let us experience it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So
yeah, so that was
I also I really hope they can make it happen with that depth sensor, because still they only have one RGB picture, so they have to do some software magic to actually make it happen. So depth sensor doesn't automatically mean, okay, you have 3D vision. You need two different pictures for both eyes, right? So I hope, I'm sure they could. I know Meta could make it happen for sure. I also hope that Vive can make it happen.
But
let's say it like this.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they can. I mean, they could do the clarity thing, right? And I actually got like the first time I saw it, I was playing Maestro VR. That was one of the demos they showed me. So Maestro is the one where it's a musical conductor simulator where you conduct, you are the conductor in VR, and they added a pass-through mode to it where you turn around and you see your real environment. And I haven't realized it at first. I saw the booth and I kind of thought I'm still in the game. And that's how clear it was. It didn't have any of that fuzz at first. Like, wait, this is the booth, right? But it felt weird because it wasn't like I couldn't perceive the depth. That's why I'm like, this doesn't look like real life. But it also doesn't look like a game. So for a second, I was confused. The clarity was the next level.
You were in the metaverse. That's why you were confused.
Yeah, Viveverse. Yeah, so that's about the pass-through. What about you? So you kind of I watched the video too. I watched the video and I was so relieved because like I'm not crazy, because I was watching some others that were saying this is the absolute like revolutionary pass-through, and I'm like,
no.
So I'm glad that I wasn't the only one who
was
just a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
So, what other demos did you try? What other games did you try when you were?
I tried this open brush thing where you can paint into the virtual reality, into the reality. Did you try this as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
I tried some Steam VR streaming of some app where it was just like you watched a scene, I don't know, some history scene. It was a bit dark, nothing too special. Then I tried. Did you also do the streaming, the PSVR streaming?
One game.
One game.
VR Mirage.
Oh yeah. Okay. No. Okay. This one I didn't do it. How was it? How was the streaming?
So, I will tell you this. They used a laptop.
So it was not good.
No.
Same here.
That's not what I'm saying.
Laptop. Yeah, they had a laptop there. Exactly.
They had a laptop at the CES and they connected it with Wi-Fi.
Right.
Imagine the quality that you would get with a Wi-Fi wireless connection to a laptop that can never compete with like 3080, 3090. Of course, Pimax had like a stepped up with that, had a really good GPU for testing Crystal. So that would ensure maximum quality. I know that everything I tried on Pimax was on high or on ultra settings. With Kayak, I kind of felt like it was either low quality or medium quality because things were kind of blurry and not as sharp as the headset probably could show with 4K resolution.
Got it.
So in that sense, I was a bit disappointed that they wouldn't offer like a wired connection, something that they would. Come on, you paid probably hundreds of $1,000s for this suite to show off your headset, and you can't, and you're okay with not showing the best it can do.
Okay.
I was a bit confused with that, but the fact that the wireless connection, but the fact that the wireless connection was working without a lag with the laptop, with just Wi-Fi and with all the CES interferences was actually very impressive. So I did like that. What about you?
All right. Yeah, the streaming worked, but it was not like that I would be blown away by it, since I'm already used to very high streaming quality by virtual desktop and the Pico 4 and the Quest 2. So it's just tough to blow me away by these kind of things. And yeah, the streaming worked. They use their own streaming software, which is like I would say like capable, but it's not it's not like as good as virtual desktop. That was my first feeling, but it was certainly all right for the normal user. But it's just like the same feeling that you also had. It's not like, oh wow, this is the clearest image quality ever, and
Yeah.
they can't, right? Because the resolution is just normal. It's very comparable to Quest and Quest Pro.
Yes.
Right? Even less than Pico 4. So it's tough to blow me away. So I was not blown away by the VR. I was not blown away by the VR, but I was blown away by the form factor. So I still think this can become I still think this can become a very successful device for affluent business people probably. They want to use it in a plane on the plane ride to Las Vegas or whatever. Or I would even put it on in the public, in the Starbucks. Like I would not put up a Pico 4 or a Quest Pro. No, I wouldn't do it. It's ridiculous. And I also wouldn't put on a Pimax Crystal in Starbucks.
But maybe you would take Pimax Portal.
Pimax Portal, yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, but so I really think that this can be successful. But it has a very special audience. It's not the mass market audience, right? If somebody from my friends ask me, hey, I want to have a standalone device and I want to play games, which one can you recommend to me? And okay, if that person has lots of money, I would probably say, okay, you can look at the XR Elite. It's a very solid headset that is very comparable to the competition, and it has a nicer form factor, but it's $1,000 more expensive, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Is that what you also had in mind, or?
I think I agree with you completely. The form factor was the single biggest thing that excited me about it, and that was actually the first thing they showed me. Like, check it out. The back battery is detachable, and
yeah, this is cool. I love it. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool stuff. This is cool stuff. And I must say, they also made a correct point, as in when you buy this device, you know that your data is not going to Meta and not going to ByteDance, right?
Yeah,
like it's not about your data, and it actually also the same with Pimax, right?
Yeah, we're not collecting data.
Yeah, right. So that is actually really something. It's a big advantage in my personal book, and I think there's people out there who care about these kind of things. So,
so right? that is another win, definitely. Actually, I mentioned that, but okay, you gave me an idea. That's for later. So this so the thing about the form factor, removable battery and hot swappable battery, because at first it didn't look like, but they said, yeah, it can work for 3-4 minutes before you need to plug it back to power. And I thought, this is so great. And the fact that it changes to little glass form, like glass shape, sort of like factor, made me think that Vive Flow was just a failed prototype of XR Elite.
Oh, absolutely. The Flow should have been the XR Elite. Yeah, but it was like a product that they needed to make the XR Elite.
It's like they tested it, and again, the form factor of Vive Flow was the only thing that people liked about it, and it was still expensive. And I still think that the price of XR Elite it should have been lower. It's not competitive with Quest Pro for a simple reason. It's literally just a simplified version of Quest Pro. You're not getting a Quest Pro for less. You're getting a simpler version. It doesn't have some very impressive things that Quest Pro has. It doesn't have local dimming, which makes difference. I saw it when I was playing
the colors are better. The colors are better in the Quest Pro, no question
Yeah,
about
especially when you see, the darker colors, you can tell they're gray. They're not black. It doesn't have, obviously, these awesome controllers that are self-tracking. Still uses controllers with tracking rings. It doesn't have built-in eye tracking, face tracking, all of that. I think maybe it has an attachment. It's going to have to be sold separately. And there are a few other things I can't remember right now, but basically it's missing some of the functions that makes Pro kind of more elite. And that's why you're paying $400 less.
Okay, but honestly, for this I must disagree. So honestly, I think if somebody would ask me which of the two headsets, which would you recommend? I personally would rather recommend the Elite XR because first of all, it's $400 cheaper, and then actually it's made for gaming. The Quest Pro is not really made for gaming. You can tell it. You buy it for $1,500 in Europe, actually €1,800, and then there's complete light bleed. So you have to do something about it to make it actually a viable VR headset to play games. Obviously, there's so many games there right now. This is absolutely an advantage of the Quest Pro. But in terms of actually the headset itself, it is gaming ready for the XR Elite, right? You directly don't have any kind of light bleeding. Then you have the diopter that you can perfectly put in, which is great. It is light. You also have a store with 100 games. You can also stream games. It is even, I think it's more comfortable actually. I need more time with the XR Elite, but if somebody would ask me, okay, Quest Pro or Elite for gaming, I would go for the $400 cheaper XR Elite.
And I don't disagree with you. My argument was not for saying that it's worth buying Quest Pro rather than buying Elite. My argument was that it should have been, the price should have been lower because on the account of they're not including the features that Quest Pro has. So it's already lower than that to make it more competitive. If they had all those features, it would have been just as expensive. So
what features do I want? What features do I want then as a gamer? What features from the Quest Pro do I want?
Better controller tracking. I haven't actually tested it enough to see how the controller tracking works.
But the controller tracking is just as good as Quest 2. So I don't think people need a $300 Quest Pro controller.
Well, people are buying the $300 controllers.
Yeah, because it's a great controller. But I don't think like the Quest 2 controller is like so much worse. Like in my playtime with the Quest 2, I never had the moment where I would think like, oh, the Quest 2 controllers suck. You know what I mean? I think they're great. So I don't think anyone needs to pay $1,500 just to get the controllers.
No, but I was actually quite surprised at how many people did place an order for new controllers, which are not cheap.
Yeah, because these controllers are amazing. There's no question about it.
Controllers alone are the price difference between Quest Pro and XR Elite, like just the controllers. But there's also local dimming, eye tracking, face tracking, and
yeah, sure. The better colors for sure. Absolutely agree with you. But still, I think for that money, $1,100 is actually not so bad. The thing is just that Meta and Pico have destroyed the prices by subsidizing those headsets so much that other headset companies have a hard time to compete. Right, Martin? What do you think about that? Did you listen?
Yeah, I did. Well,
he was reacting. I saw his face.
No, well, since I haven't, I've tried the MetaQuest Pro, but I haven't tested the Elite. The Vive Elite XR. Well, I would say the biggest difference is the content here. I mean, the Meta has the big advantage. Yeah,
but I mean that Meta actually really like Meta and Pico have kind of destroyed the prices for for companies like Pimax, like you, because then $1,600 suddenly sounds so super expensive compared to those $400 from the Pico 4 or the Quest 2.
Yeah, it kind of like it is kind of like enterprise / high end prices on these devices, and it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, for a gamer, a lot of gamers do not need more than the Quest 2 or Elite XR. I mean, some of these features in the Meta Quest Pro are not going to even be used by gamers at all. So I don't know why someone would pay another $400. Was it $400 more? I think you said $400.
$400 more than the Elite XR. Yeah.
I mean, obviously the controllers are better, but then again, I don't know. I would agree with you, Sebastian. I would go with the HTC if I needed just a gaming headset.
The thing is, I think most people will simply just go for the Pico 4 or the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 right later this year. So I think it's just for us complete enthusiast crazy people who go and buy the Quest Pro. I mean, I drove with my car to France to buy it.
Yeah. I think once people have realized the potential of the Portal with the QLED panels, I think a lot of people will jump.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get to that part. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. So
I just thought if they wanted to break into this market and really like make a splash with Quest and Pico, it needed to be lower. And again, I understand that they packed some features, they packed the pass-through, but people like, I think your regular VR enthusiast who's new to VR wouldn't even know what pass-through is, would maybe think about these experiences
exactly.
that AR. They want to be immersed. And by the way, XR Elite does a very good job immersing you. The facial interface that comes with it completely blocks the light. There's absolutely no light leak, and you don't have to pay extra $50 or $60. And even if you do, it still doesn't block it. Like I still have the gap. Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Wow, I'm sorry. I got super excited. So in that sense, why not release a budget version, portable thing where you innovate, replaceable battery, you can fold it like a glass, and it's just VR. That would, choosing between that and Quest, even Quest 2, which had a price increase. You mentioned the privacy concerns and social media. HTC would be a no-brainer, even with the lower, number of games in the library.
That's true. But the thing is, and that is HTC's problem, they need to earn money. They are a company that cannot simply subsidize the shit out of those headsets like Meta and ByteDance can, right? They can invest billions of dollars, Meta and ByteDance, because they have it. But HTC, they are in a different position. They cannot do that because they are simply not such a rich company. So I can simply understand them.
I would say any other company,
exactly. Pimax, right? Any other company, they can't do that. Yeah. Of course, HTC and Pimax would love to bring out the Crystal and the Elite XR for like $500, but they would be bankrupt afterwards, right? So,
I understand that. I understand.
That's why I kind of feel for Vive, and I even think like this device feels like so high quality. Like when you hold it and you see it, like wow, they built it so nicely. Like the build quality is so great, and it's so tiny and small, and how they innovated on the form factor, and that for $1,099, that is not so crazy, honestly speaking. If you think about people paying $1,500 for the next iPhone, which cannot go into VR.
It's true. It definitely competes more with Quest Pro rather than Quest 2. And there are still people who buy Quest Pro for gaming. In that sense, they would absolutely win if they got HTC.
Right. So I wish them all the best, HTC. Although I see that it's not easy for them, but I see that this could be an attractive device. I want to check it more. Hopefully, I'm going to get my hands on them. They are a couple of metro stations away from where I am right now. So HTC, if you're watching this, I'm coming to get it after Chinese New Year. So, Exactly. So I wish them all the best for that. And again, I said it last week as well. I hope they could come up with some innovative installment plan where they would take part of that $1,400 into some 2 years installment plan where you pay like $40 a month and then have Viveport Infinity with all the games included and take some money out of this first investment. I still love that idea. I really hope somebody from HTC is listening to that. That would be good. Yeah. So, Martin, what are your thoughts about standalone headsets? I know you and me, we are really like, we love that PC stuff, right? We are like the enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Is it still like you are 100% this guy, or do you also see some future in standalone? Like the Crystal is supposed to do standalone in the future as well. So, how are your personal thoughts about that?
Well, as you know me, I am a PSVR enthusiast since the early days, and for me, I think standalone is cool. I mean, it makes the whole experience more portable and accessible everywhere. But it's personally, it's not something for me. That's my problem. I'm having a hard time to find content that actually is for me. You know, I'm playing a lot of simulators, a lot of those more, hard driven, those, GPU demanding games, which just doesn't exist on standalone devices. The good part about standalone is that you can also stream games from your PC wirelessly, and so, but that also limits the graphical fidelity and all those streaming issues. So, on the Crystal, I mean, you asked about the Crystal. I see Crystal as a 90% PCVR headset, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The standalone part, even though, I mean, the Pimax team might not agree with me here because some of them just love the standalone part, and I would say the standalone part just came as a bonus with the Crystal since we're using the Snapdragon XR2, which already does the inside out tracking, which was like, I think it was the main reason for using the Snapdragon XR2 in the first place. So we get rid of the base stations. I mean, got rid of them, but it's not necessary anymore. Makes the headset cheaper, makes the headset easier to set up and all that. But the standalone comes with it as it is, and it runs on battery as well. So, which is great. It's a great addition to the Crystal. I don't see people really taking the Crystal on a flight, on a 2-hour flight to watch a movie, because it's a little bit more bulky than the obviously.
Wow, you would be the total star of the show when you're in that plane with that Crystal. No, really, wow.
They would send the TSA on me, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, this guy in row 3.
Yeah.
He has a bump on his head.
It's cool that it exists, and I think there's a lot of potential to it, especially since we have some proper cooling. I think a lot of the other companies have just overlooked is the cooling of the devices when it comes to the Snapdragon XR. I'm probably not supposed to talk about it right now because this is more of a Portal topic. I'm a lot into overclocking the Snapdragon XR2 right now. I've done a lot of. I spent like 1.5 weeks now trying to overclock and do some tests and stuff. And what many people don't know probably is that the XR2 have crazy amount of power above the power which exists with the Quest 2 and then Pico 4.
Right.
Quest 2 is still underclocked. They actually increased the frequencies of the GPU recently to 525 megahertz or something. Stock frequencies are like almost 578 or something, but you can go as high as like 940 megahertz, which I'm actually testing right now on both the Portal and the Crystal. And that adds another like 40 up to 50% in performance. So in that regard, I think Crystal could really, and Portal, by the way, could really shine because we can potentially run the games at a higher resolution. Not only
but then you have to cool them down like aggressively, right? Which might...
Yeah, I mean, we do have aggressive cooling, which is not aggressive on default, right? On the Crystal with the latest batch. I don't have the final batch here, by the way, but But the pre-production ones from CES, they were basically dead silent when running PCVR, at least. Once you start to run the standalone content, and especially overclock, of course, I wouldn't say it gets loud, but you can definitely hear the wind noise from the fans spinning. But it still allows you to push out so much more performance and so much more resolution and more graphical fidelity, I guess, which will be needed for the Crystal. And that's where I think the Crystal and the Portal, for that matter, shines compared to the other headsets, because we can actually make those games look better on standalone mode. So that's one of the things. But then again, I'm still a PCVR user. I'm not a Beat Saber guy, and I mean, playing like Half-Life Alyx or something, whatever thing they port into standalone, it will never really be the same thing as playing a PCVR game like natively.
You made it sound a little bit like the standalone features almost like a bit of an afterthought. But it's not really like that, because obviously supporting and maintaining and updating the library of standalone games to make it still competitive to, with other standalone is a big commitment and a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Has there been consideration to not do it just so that the team can focus on more of the PC VR support rather than improving and maintaining the library that is not even the main goal of the headset in the first place?
Yeah, I think Martin, you just mentioned, right? The team would probably disagree with what you said.
We have a massive team right now working on the standalone part, and I think for Robin, like the founder of Pimax, I think he's just completely dedicated into the standalone part right now. He does see some crazy possibilities with it, and as you said, we're gonna need to commit ourselves completely to the standalone part, because it requires so much more from us. I mean, in terms of content compatibility, all the developers that has to jump on the train with us. Definitely. But I mean, what I said was just from my own perspective.
Right.
As a PCVR enthusiast, I'm not that super excited about the standalone part. But I think
here.
A lot of
honestly
speaking. And I think and I think it's a great addition after. I mean, think about it. I mean, you have a great PCVR headset with crystal clear quality, and you can just disconnect the cable easily and just go to the bedroom and just watch a movie or something. And it has its purpose. You don't have to play those VR games on it. You can do a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Like on the Portal, for instance. I mean, I was just playing like yesterday. I was testing some Dolphin games. I mean, Dolphin Emulator. Some ROMs. And you can just easily do that in bed or wherever, just playing with the controllers like on a big screen in VR, and that's just awesome for me. I'm a big enthusiast of retro gaming and the emulators, and that's just something that's standalone. It makes it so easy. I can do that anywhere.
Yeah, you can easily bring the headset then to friends also and show them, okay, this is the new Pimax headset.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to that as well. Anyways, before we totally talk about the Crystal and the Portal, let's talk about the PlayStation VR2. Wow, I must say I'm so extremely excited about it. It's probably going to be one of the biggest things for VR since the Quest 2. And the Quest 2 was really already getting VR more into the mainstream. But I have super, super high hopes for the PlayStation VR2. What are your thoughts about it, Tetiana?
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely one of the highlights of CES, mostly even because of how difficult it was to even demo it. You can tell that there was so much demand if people wanted to see what that headset would look like. You know how they did it? They put the link, and then at 8 a.m. every morning, you'd have to click it and book your demo spot. So, and if you don't know, those demo spots would completely run out within the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not like exaggerating. It would be gone by the time I'm done filling out that form. And it was a very short form. It was like my name, my email, and the time. Like, that's it. It's crazy.
But you made it.
I made it And I actually made it not even because I was so good at registering. It was because I have a very good friend. So I'm going to promote him a little bit. And his channel name is Jackal Dude VR. He is just the most amazing person ever. And he offered his demo spot for me.
Oh,
because
so nice.
I actually didn't get it. So it was amazing of him. Go check out, his channel. And just this was one of the most selfless things someone has done for me in the VR community. And yeah, so I wouldn't have had that experience probably if he didn't give me that spot. So that was amazing. And yeah, I was blown away. And what
tell us more. Like last week already, Eric and Skiva were so blown away by PSVR2. They were like raving so crazily about it. Tell us about the experience.
So here's
what blew you away? What blew you away?
So here's why I was blown away. The entire time I was at CES, I knew that I was going to check out mostly hardware. And most of the things that I've tried, not Pico, the Magic Leap, Lynx, HTC, Pimax even, it was all demonstration of tech capabilities of the headset. Very rarely did I actually get to see impressive content that was maybe made specifically to showcase the features of the headset. So PSVR2 had the most mind-blowing content to actually show what that headset can do. Testing Horizon, Call of the Mountain on that headset was like the perfect choice. The absolute perfect choice, because it literally managed to showcase probably like 95% of everything that this headset can do. And that's what made it.
Okay.
That's what made the experience complete.
Do you think on 22nd of February there are going to be VR content creators who are going to stream Horizon Call of the Mountain?
I mean, they would be silly not to.
22nd is gonna be okay. Horizon Call of the Mountain stream, live stream. It's gonna get crazy.
If they figure out how to do it, they need to figure it out right now. How to stream it from the TV, do some kind of capture card, just set it up right now. I don't really know.
It will directly stream from the PSVR too, directly into YouTube, just like PSVR 1.
Oh, okay. I've never done that. I've never streamed directly.
Okay, it's great because it will directly show you the YouTube chat in your view, in your VR view. It's amazing.
Okay, well, have you pre-ordered yours?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I still think that it's going to be a little bit of a race, because even though obviously everyone pre-ordered it, I don't think everyone will be getting it the same day. I think that they will be shipping it and receiving it between 22nd and 28th of February.
Okay,
so it's going to be interesting. Out of our control, but
okay. I'm like 7 hours ahead of Europe and like 15 hours ahead of the US. I could be first if I get it. Let's see.
Okay. So I will tell you one thing that blew me away. And again, it's
exactly. Tell us about it.
No, I won't just tell you everything about it, because obviously you've already talked about it. But just the one thing.
No, I want to know what you thought.
Yeah. So we know that Quest Pro has eye tracking, right? And back then, when it was first released, and I had this demo, like the hands-on private demo, where they were showing the stuff, I was blown away then by the eye tracking. But I remember very clearly that I was more impressed by the calibration process than I was by actually using it, because the only way that the eye tracking could be used right now on Quest Pro is in social apps where people can see that your eyes are moving. And it's like, okay, that's really cool. But there was absolutely no eye tracking integration in gaming UI. And that is literally the reason why eye tracking exists in PlayStation VR2, is because you can select gaming menus by just looking at them. And not just that, but you can interact with Yeah, so like you don't have to point and click. You can, I mean, you can click, but you can just look at the menu option and select it in the game. So not even in the like PlayStation menu, but it's already integrated in the gaming UI.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And yes, and that felt like magic. It's like this is what I wanted. I don't really care so much about the social experiences because I can't see my own eyes. I want to see how cool it is, and here it is. You can choose gaming menus, and there are even some games that will be using that to interact with characters in the game. I made actually another video with some of the games that will be taking advantage of all the new features of the headset. And one game in particular, Tentacular, it's called, I believe.
Yeah, it's from Germany.
Yeah, it's from Germany?
It's from Germany, yeah. It's a German
cool.
developer from Berlin.
That's awesome. Now I will
Yeah.
know that when I play the game.
Exactly.
So you are this giant monster with tentacles for hands, and there are little citizens that you can help them do some quests. And you can look at them, and they will kind of see that you're looking at them, and they will like, what do you want from me? They will interact with you, and they will give you some quests just because you draw their attention by looking at them. And I believe Resident Evil will also have something like that, because I read that eye tracking will be used there, maybe just for gaming menus like in Horizon, but maybe to interact with the environment. That's what I'm most excited about.
Cool. So how about the other stuff? How about the colors, for example? Since, you can compare them against good colors like the Quest Pro colors. How about the FOV? How about the resolution? Tell us all about this good stuff.
Again, that's why Horizon was the perfect game they chose for this demo. I think the biggest titles are Horizon and like Resident Evil, but maybe people would be scared to try Resident Evil. Horizon is just right to showcase those colors, like that splash of vividness right in your face. That first intro scene is just, yeah, that was like lots of jaw dropping happened that day. I have to say though, the clarity was a bit better on Pimax Crystal.
Okay, good.
So it didn't have the best clarity.
Okay, I'm canceling the PSVR2.
No, I was very transparent with it. I especially so that goes back to the Roadshow when I saw that for the first time. I was trying Elite Dangerous, I think, and there were little holograms with super tiny lines, and usually you would see pixels or you would see them kind of blurring together because they're so small and they're so far away and they're so close to each other. But in Pimax Crystal, I could see them clearly, everything, like all the little lines. They were not blending together.
The clarity was
amazing,
really like jaw-dropping on the Crystal. Agreed.
And then on PlayStation VR2, I was looking at some busy objects like grass, and it would kind of blend in together. So it wouldn't stay 100% sharp, but only when you're paying attention to like very busy, like, grass or some kind of vegetation. So, but of course I was being super critical of it. So I was looking for the things that would be wrong. That is not to say that I didn't like the visuals in any way. It was still looked amazing, especially for the price. I have the entire conversation about why PlayStation VR2 is not overpriced. That was a big deal for me.
Who says that's
lots of people, and I just got
they will buy it anyways.
Tired of it. Yes. So for what you're paying and what you're getting, amazing. And the one thing I noticed, and I know that other creators noticed it too, was that little bit of a fuzz that looks like a screen door effect. And I figured out later on that it could be something called Mura.
Okay.
And it's something
the PlayStation VR1 has
PlayStation,
it quite a lot.
Much stronger. It's much stronger on PlayStation VR1. You can still notice it. You can't notice it on other headsets like Vario, Aero, or Pimax Crystal. But I kind of again, I stopped noticing it after just a couple of minutes, just because I stopped looking for it.
Right.
It's something
Normally,
you get
if
used to
there's
very
like
quickly.
one area with the same color, like everything is black or everything is blue,
Yes,
then you would see
or
Mura normally.
bright colors. Yeah, because it moves like with your face. It's kind of like a little
Right.
dust on the
Right.
screen.
Like a
If you
dirty
don't know what it
windshield.
is, yeah, if you don't know what it is, if you've never even tried VR, it's going to be your first year experience. You would be like, I guess this is what VR looks like. That's okay. But I've noticed that it's just a PSVR kind of thing. So those were the only visual. Oh no, those are not the only visual complaints I had. The
Oh
eye
my God,
tracking
the
actually.
device sucks.
No, do you just want me to say how awesome it is?
No. I absolutely want to know your experience with it. So go ahead. I really want to know.
Well, basically, just like with a Quest Pro, eye tracking needs to be calibrated, right? And it very much depends on the position of the headset on your face. So it needs to be in the right position, your eye tracking is being calibrated, and foveated rendering works perfectly. But what happens if you remove a headset and then put it back on?
Okay, so you have to calibrate again?
I guess you should be able to recalibrate it automatically. That's one of the Tobii features. I mean, Tobii Crystal will be using the same eye tracking as PSVR2. It's Tobii, and they have like different modes for this for the calibration. Either you do that once manually, like you click on a button, or you it simply does that every time you basically put on the headset, and it just does that silently without notifying you.
Yeah, well, what they told me, because at the beginning I calibrated my eye tracking and I was kind of standing there waiting for the game to start, and he said, "Look around." And for some reason, I just like removed it a little bit to look around, but I did notice that the pass through had already turned on. So he meant in VR, but I had removed it just for like half a second. And he's like, "Oh, no, put it back on, put it back on. You're going to mess up the eye calibration." I thought, okay. So I put it back on. And
it could be that the PSVR only has that mode currently. I mean, just like the one time calibration, then you have to redo it manually again if you want to.
Yeah. So when I asked him about that little, like, not fuzz, but the blurry, some kind of blurry edges, with the grass and stuff, he said it could be because you removed the headset. And I thought, okay, so every single time you remove it, do you have to go through the calibration again? Because it takes like a good 30 seconds. I wouldn't think so. So I wasn't sure if he was just using that as an excuse to explain why image isn't perfect, even though it's okay if it's not perfect.
But where was the image not perfect? Like in the center of the image, or was it in the peripheral area, or anywhere, or what was this area?
It's just
was
just the little of a blurriness that I saw. That the grass blades weren't 100% sharp. If there were too many objects in the same place, they would kind of blend in a little bit. But foveated rendering was working fine. So honestly, I just thought that he just wanted to use that as an explanation why it's not. I don't know. But that kind of made me freaked out. I want to test it more.
Yeah, I mean, it may be the fact that you tried the Crystal before and then you went to the PSVR booth and I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I mean, yeah, and it's fine, and it's completely fine. Like he didn't have to. He was just like, "Oh well, we don't know. Everybody perceives it differently." I don't think it was the eye tracking issue. I think he was just trying to find a way of like, that's why. Other that it would be perfect if you didn't do that thing. I don't think.
I mean, obviously, the PSVR does have like 30% lower resolution. It's basically like the HP reverb resolution per eye.
So it's
which is good.
Which is good.
Also,
yeah, definitely.
It also could be an art style of the game, right? Who knows if these grass roots that you saw, if they really are meant to be perfectly sharp.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could also be the fact that the game was not running at the full resolution, which is
exactly
which most of the time it's not on consoles because they're not powerful enough to drive the headset. I mean,
especially if lots of things are going on, probably it was not full resolution.
Either way,
we need to check it out.
When we receive these, this is just one more thing to test. Set up eye calibration, remove the headset, because what if someone's in the room? What if you need to take a glass of water, answer the phone, go to the restroom, whatever, and then you get back, and what happens with eye tracking then?
Normally you shouldn't have to like redo everything again. Probably you can set it up. Like on the Aero, you could set that up, for example. Like, do you always want to do the eye calibration again? Right? If you take it off and then you just click on no, and then you're good whenever you did it once, right? So probably you can set it up. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, good to know also what you saw there. But overall, you were still impressed. How about the colors were good, right? Obviously, it's OLED.
Yeah.
How about the FOV?
Oh, pretty good. I like the, what is it called? The binocular overlap.
Binocular overlap, okay.
I think it was really good. And just like with Crystal, I don't know why I was comparing it to Crystal so much. That's a good thing because, the best clarity, really good FOV. I think the vertical FOV was really good too, which I've noticed for me might be even more important than horizontal. Because if it's just like a little bit, it looks like you're looking through a tunnel, but it had like really opened up, kind of almost looked like a circle, the entire thing. I liked it a lot. So with Horizon, I got to be honest, I don't play a lot of VR games lately, and I might be just getting a little bit tired of low polygons and kind of mobile looking games. Horizon is the first game that made me excited in a while.
Like a real game, like finally, not a mobile XR2 game. Yes.
I'm just excited to jump in. It's been a while since I've just played something for fun, not to make content. I'm gonna play just for fun.
Same here, exactly. Okay, cool. Oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to it. Martin, are you looking forward to the PSVR2?
Yeah, definitely. Usually I'm a PSVR guy, but and there's not. I used to not get excited about new VR headsets for PSVR because most of the time Pimax is already ahead with the resolutions and all that. But when it comes to consoles and specifically PSVR2, I'm super excited about it actually. I do not have a PS5 right now, but I will definitely buy it together with the PSVR 2 because not because of the technology itself, which you already pointed out, it's not being like the front leading technology, but the content. I think what I saw, I went by the PlayStation or Sony booth at CES the last day. I had no time, or I had no time slot to actually try it, but I was just standing there and looking at the monitors when some other people were playing, and I was just blown away by the Horizon. I think it's just that game is just worth to buy that headset for. It just looked amazing, even on the screen. I was just imagining how good it's going to look in VR. And then we have I'm a big fan of Resident Evil, which is also going to be there on launch, and also what's it called? Gran Turismo or that's also really cool. I mean, those are AAA titles, all of them. So that's the big strength of Sony PlayStation VR 2.
Right. The content. I have one more question for you, Tetiana. So how about the lenses? They are not pancake lenses. Now we're getting used to pancake lenses, right? The lens of the Quest Pro are so good. Same with the Pico 4 and the XR Elite as well. So how about the Fresnel lenses? Did they strike you as giving you lots of God rays? Did you see the HH clarity lacking as compared to the headsets that we like now? Tell us about the Fresnel lenses. Did that somehow strike you negatively?
I was trying to see if I would notice any God rays or anything, but that was just I was just blown away by the colors, and Speaking of the clarity, maybe that was what made the grass look a little bit strange. But no, there's really not much I can say about it. Like the visuals just looked amazing. You wouldn't immediately go, oh,
okay, good.
Bummer,
That's
these
good.
suck. I wish they were pancake.
Okay.
No, but you're just like, this is amazing.
Okay. Because that's the last thing that I'm like holding out for, to be blown away in a negative way, because like I'm so used now to the clarity of the pancake, right? I'm using the Pico 4 most of the time. It's like, okay, it's good. So yeah. Also like the crystal was so crystal clear. So it's just like tough to go back to Fresnel.
Yeah. It's not the best clarity you've ever seen in VR. But it's pretty dang good. It's good enough for you to be.
One more month to go, and then we're going to have the PSVR2.
So you haven't demoed it yet?
I haven't demoed it yet. No, not yet. So I will be surprised then on 22nd. Martin, are you going to? I have a good feeling too. Martin, are you going to get the PS5 then now?
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to get both of them, PS5 and the PSVR2 for sure.
Perfect.
Just because of the content. I think a lot of these games will not be available for PC anyway for a while, at least for the next 2 years or so. So definitely. Exciting.
Finally, we can get back into gaming. Yeah, cool. Yep. PSVR2, I think all of us are super excited for it, and probably even more people will get to enjoy VR in a fantastic way. You know, we had to start with Gear VR or something, right? Or PSVR 1, which was also not bad, actually. But now these people, these lucky young people, they get to play PSVR 2 for the first time VR. And wow, they will be blown away. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, cool. PSVR 2, 1 month to go. So that was the PSVR topic, and now finally many of us have been waiting for the Pimax Crystal deep dive, and also to hear more about the Portal. First of all, Martin, congratulations for making this amazing roadshow, obviously with your teammates, which also have been like working so hard on it, and I met them. Was super nice to meet them.
Thank you.
And also congrats on the CES, where you also showed off all of the good stuff. So tell us, how was everything? Tell us about this super exciting time and super tough time, I think, because I've seen you in Dortmund, Germany for a couple of days, and you were working so hard with your teammates there.
Yeah.
Was it the same on the whole trip?
It was the same from day one until the last day of CES.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
you know, crazy, man.
Those trips never turns. I mean, they're never like seamless. There are always things going wrong, and there's so many things that you have to take care of, and then you know rescheduling stuff. So yeah, but it was a blast from day one already. I mean, we started this roadshow in Europe mid-November in Berlin, and then over at you in Dortmund, and then in Netherlands in 2 locations, including VR days. And all of the impressions we've got were just crazy positive. I mean, I was expecting positive impressions, but I wasn't expecting like 99.5% of all the people actually being blown away, more or less, by the crystal. Which was which kind of gave me more energy to go through this long journey. Of course, it's always easier when you see that people are happy with the demos. I mean, we spend months to prepare all this. Not only me, but the entire team in Shanghai, and also people in the United States like Kevin and the others. So yeah, it was a great adventure. Really, it took a lot of energy, but it was so worth it. And
wow.
CES also, I mean, it was, as Tetiana said earlier, the CES was more crowded than ever. I think we scanned like 2,000 something badges, and that was like maybe like 20% of all the people that actually went to our booth. I wouldn't be surprised if there were like 10,000 people in our booth during those 4 days. It was just insane, especially the first 3 days, or maybe the first 2 days were just so hectic and crazy. Also, I don't know if many of you know about this, but we had a really nice booth this time, which was large beautiful and spacious.
It looked so good.
Yeah, it was very cozy also. A lot of people were just hanging out there, especially when it was not too crowded. People could just hang out there and talk with us and test those samples a little bit more in detail, and including a lot of YouTubers. Also, we had so many YouTubers coming by us, not only at CES, but also on the road shows. And that was great. So yeah, I don't know how to sum this up shortly. I could talk about this for like an hour, but it was crazy cool and nice and fun to see.
What was the best memory from the roadshow? I mean, you've had so many people that you met and so many experiences. What sticks in your head?
I think there was a moment when I turned on Beat Saber at CES, which I wasn't even allowed to do that. Yeah, at CES, I turned on Beat Saber just exclusively for Tetiana. So she had like 5 minutes or something with the crystal and those crystal controllers. So yeah, I think that was one of the highlights for sure. I saw her dancing also, which was really cool.
Busted some
I
moves
understand.
on expert.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, fantastic.
No, but there were so many memories. I mean, that was crazy. I love the road. I mean, the meetup at your MRTV headquarters. That was one of the big highlights.
It was really fun to meet you again, and also the team, and it was a great event.
Yeah, it was a hectic. You saw it. I mean, it was blood, sweat,
you guys
and tears.
were working. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
we were 4 o'clock in the morning. You guys were working.
Yeah, we were sleeping like 3 hours a night, but it's still fun after all. You get new energy every day, especially when you meet new people, all those enthusiasts, all those people who are like, some people who have been using Pimax for years, other people who've never even seen a Pimax, they just come by and they just get blown away. And and some of the people I still today I learn a lot from these people, like flight simulator enthusiasts, and those trips are just amazing. I think Pimax is kind of unique when it comes to this. We do those road shows like like nobody else. We kind of get together with those individuals, we know people like you and me, people like anyone out there. Not only on conventions, but also like on small events, like in at your office or in Berlin, or even Gouda in Netherlands, which is kind of like a small city in Netherlands, which is, I think that's very powerful. And from our side, it's very. I mean, we're so thankful to get all that feedback. We got to know some issues we didn't even know existed. I mean, from you and from some other people, like with the optical diopter problem, and we would probably not even notice or address this problem without all the people at these road shows.
You really get that feedback on these road shows, which is of course cool. So very intense time is behind you, and great that you get all these memories, and I'm glad for you that it's finally finished and you can relax a bit. So now let's get into the hardware, like our favorite stuff, our favorite hobby, VR hardware. So the Pimax Crystal, I must say, it really excites me. So I was already before, when Pimax started, I was excited about this Pimax 5K and 8K because you guys were like pushing the limits, right? It was something special, and I liked it. But it was not for everyone, right? Not everyone could enjoy these wide FOVs. There were some optical flaws that simply not everyone could enjoy it. I have the feeling that now for this new generation of Pimax headsets, it's a bit different. It seems like to be like optics that anyone can enjoy, because it seems like optically it's just better. Could you comment on this?
Yeah, I mean, the aspheric lenses we use right now with the Crystal are just amazing compared to what we've achieved before. I mean, this is something that Robin and the team has been working on for like 2.5 years now. Spent like crazy amount of money to develop these lenses, or to get them to make them a possibility. I mean, there are other companies who are doing similar things like Xtal and VR Engineers, but we're trying to bring this to home consumers, to gamers, which wasn't possible before. The aspheric lenses just brings out that clarity which we were not able to get on our previous headsets. And together with the local dimming and the QLED
right.
panels, it's just mind blowing. I would say.
So
Yeah. Go ahead.
So let's talk about the device for all of the people who are listening to this podcast or watching it and have never known about the Pimax Crystal. So it's a headset that basically ticks all the boxes of the VR enthusiast. When I first heard about the device, I thought you guys are crazy. Right? I really thought like most of the people thought like, are you kidding us? Is this a joke? Because like you kind of promised everything. It's a standalone headset, but it's also a PSVR headset that can do wireless streaming with Wi-Fi 6E, but also with WiGig if you want, right? And it has this super high resolution of 2880 by 2880 QLED, but it also has local dimming for the perfect blacks. Then, of course, it also has eye tracking, right? So you could probably do foveal rendering in the future. And it has, of course, automatic IPD adjustment with motors that will work. And then you don't need any base stations anymore because, of course, it also has inside-out tracking and like the standalone XR2 that does the inside-out tracking. But if you still want the lighthouse, if you prefer that, you can simply take the lighthouse, how you call it, sleeve or a face
lighthouse
plate?
Sleeve. This thing.
exactly that. And then you simply slap it in front of this, and then you have a lighthouse headset, and you can use your lighthouse controllers if you need that perfect tracking. And well, since it's
the hot
standalone,
swappable battery too.
It has a hot swappable battery, of course, right? So you can simply exchange the batteries if you want to play longer. So basically, it has everything that the enthusiast wants, and that will set you back, including a battery, $1,600. Okay, that sounds pretty amazing. Tetiana, would you agree? I mean, what are your thoughts about it? About this value proposition?
I was watching that and I think like my jaw was dropping lower and lower. But that was, of course, before I saw your presentation on Pimax Portal, where my jaw probably broke the floor and just dropped on the
We're gonna get to that later. Exactly.
Yeah, but I remember clearly when I was listening to that and I was seeing all these impressive comparisons that you put, like here's the pixel density on Crystal, and then here is, I think, Valve Index and the HTC and some other headsets. I'm like, where is Warrior Arrow? Where is Quest Pro? Those two that like really clear. And then I went to the Roadshow and literally both of those headsets were there. I'm like, oh, holy moly. Like they're literally like showing it. But during the presentation, that's when I thought, okay, they are full of it. They're so full of it. They are not
they're not for real. They're not for real. And then I totally forgot to mention swappable lenses. So if you want some better lenses in the future or down the road, somebody comes up with some cool new lenses, yes, you can simply swap them. So I just thought like, oh no, I can't believe this is happening. And from the German community, they were also like, no, that's not going to happen. But then, well, you came around to my studio and you actually showed me the device. And it worked. And it was absolutely the best visual quality that I'd ever seen in a headset. And I must say, I have seen them all. And it was absolutely fantastic. It was not perfect yet, right? I couldn't get to try the controllers. It was too early for that. And I couldn't see wireless, but I saw PSVR, and that worked really well. But I did find the flaw, and other people also, with a diopter problem, right? But this is something that you know now and that you have changed, you have solved.
That's already addressed. Yeah, we did a minor. We realized that long after, even at CES, we had a couple of units where that issue was not corrected, unfortunately. That's why we had some people, very few actually, but including at least one YouTuber, I think. That was sadly it's Brad Lynch, and he mentioned that problem still. And we realized that after CES that we still had a couple of those units. Where the issue was basically it's not the wrong lenses, it's just basically the distance between the lens and the it's kind of like 2 point something millimeters in distance, which was off, which we fixed already back in the European Roadshow, like temporarily. And that was already fixed in the factory, but those units we got from this for CES were not corrected. At least some of them were not corrected. So yeah, that was a bummer. Actually, that was our fault, and yeah, we learned from that mistake. So, but that's definitely fixed up on the final units, which are being manufactured right now.
Cool! I can't wait to try it. So, yeah, I was really shocked that actually. Like it works, like you really are working on that headset, and actually not just working on it, you had been working on it for years, and now it's like finished. So wow, I must honestly tell you, Martin, I honestly think that this is the one Pimax headsets which could really give your company the breakthrough, because the other headsets, they were okay, they were a bit fiddly, and some people liked it after they dealt with it a bit, and probably they could go and they could accept some compromises of some distortions and stuff. But for this, I absolutely see that this can be a commercial success, because you don't have these kind of optical compromises. What is your thought on that?
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And I mean, I'm not saying this because I work for Pimax, but I must say that when it comes to clarity and when it comes to visual presentation of the VR image, I don't think we have much of a competition right now in the industry with the Crystal. And Tetiana, you actually mentioned something about those, comparison images between Crystal and the other headsets.
Yeah.
The reason why we never added Vario Aero or the HP Reverb G2 was because I made those through the lens photos, and I don't have any of those headsets. So,
that's what I realized, because Quest Pro was literally probably not even announced before you, when you recorded that. I assume you recorded it like before. So I'm like, okay, it literally just came out. But Vario was, I was like, well, it existed for a while.
Yeah, so that's why during the European Roadshow and the American or United States Roadshow, we brought a Vario Aero and the HP Reverb G2 and some Pimax 8KXs and some other various headsets just for comparison. And, I was, personally, I was a little bit nervous what people would say when we made those direct comparisons. We set up like two PCs with identical configurations.
I thought that was so cool that you did that, actually.
Yeah,
to really do the A/B comparison. That was really cool.
Very cool that you did that. Very radiated confidence from you.
Indeed. I mean, I must admit, I wasn't 100% sure what people would think, but once I saw it
Is that
myself,
a good idea?
Yeah, because here's the thing. I don't own a Vario Aero. I have tested it a couple of times before, but that was all. But now when I got the chance to set up those PCs before all the visitors started to arrive, and I was like, holy shit, okay, this looks better. The Crystal is better. And basically every single person said the same thing. And we weren't really fishing for it. We were like, hey, tell us what you think. It's like A and B comparison. And all of them were just like, oh, wow, the Crystal is better than the Vario Aero. They weren't expecting that either.
Yeah.
Not only in terms of field of view. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Because you weren't trying to trick people who don't maybe know much about VR headsets by comparing Crystal to like a 3-year-old headset.
No, of course.
Like you were literally showing the newest and the greatest without hiding.
Well, we did also compare it against the 8KX, which is basically a 3-year-old headset by now. I mean, ever since the launch, or 2.5 years or something like that. But that's our own previous generation. But yeah, in terms of other brands, of course, we want to compare the Crystal against those, the best thing you can get right now. And I guess that the Vario is still like the benchmark of VR headsets.
It's a great headset
Crystal.
As well.
It is. I mean, when it comes to sharpness and clarity, it's great. But then you put them side by side, and then you realize, like, wow, it can even get better. I wouldn't say like
the local dimming is so cool.
The local dimming, personally, I would say the local dimming is the number one feature of the Crystal and Portal. By the way, it's crazy how much better the image gets together with those aspheric lenses. It's completely transformed. I could even go with with a much lower resolution just to get those colors, the blacks and the contrast ratio. This brought me back to those days when I had the Samsung Odyssey with the OLED panels and the true blacks when I was playing Skyrim VR.
It's amazing.
And I just loved the blacks in Skyrim in the dark environment. And now finally I saw that again, but with a much higher resolution, which is just insane. I think that's a lot of people overlook this, the QLED technology and the local dimming which Crystal has. They just tend to look at the resolution and the specifications on paper, but once you see the QLED, you realize it is basically OLED, more or less. I mean, it's not OLED. Yeah,
the colors were so good. And the blacks, and it's also cool that you could like turn it on and off just to show us the difference. Like, this is the typical grayish black that you normally see, right? And then boom, here is the local dimming one.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. We actually requested that, or I actually requested that from the team to be able to do those, to be able to turn it on and off, because it's fully possible to do that in real time. Same thing on the Portal. It's still not added, but you can turn off the local dimming on the Portals as well. And there might be occasions when you actually want to turn off the local dimming for some reason, I guess. But I would say it's more of a comparison thing, that you want to see the real, because when you, especially at CES and those big conventions where people just jump into a headset, they're like, okay, this looks great, but they never really. They tend to you easily forget what you saw like 10 minutes ago. You don't really get the feel. You get easily spoiled and you get used to something pretty fast. But once you go back to something which is worse, or like the previous generation or something,
it's impossible.
That's where you realize how good
exactly.
And when you see so much, it starts blending in sometimes. Like I saw probably like 7 different headsets within an hour or something. So sometimes you just have to work really hard to capture that image in your memory. To compare it can be really hard.
Yeah, I mean, we had so many people at the roadshow, especially in the European roadshow, which all of them were using the HP Reverb G2, and they loved it. They're like, "Oh, my G2, my G2." I'm like, "Oh, cool, that's great." I mean, it's a great headset. I never had it. I had the first. Yeah, of course. But then they just saw the Crystal, and it's like, "Holy crap!"
It's better.
Yeah, and it's not only the resolution here; it's
lenses,
also the field of view,
edge
the lenses,
clarity.
And of course the QLED and the local dimming, which plays a big role here.
I want it now.
You're gonna get it. You're both gonna get it.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness!
That is the most anticipated headset for me. I mean, other than PlayStation VR, which is like a console, I'm looking forward to that more than HTC. I mean, they're different. They have such different like focus, right? HTC is the form factor. But then a Crystal is like, okay, you just want to have the best possible visuals ever, better than HTC, better than PlayStation. Like, just give me the best. So how can you not be excited about something like that?
Yeah, definitely. And also the 42 PPD lenses, by the way, which we haven't even mentioned here, the lenses which gives you another like 7 extra pixels per degree. They're still in the works. I mean, they're still not finished. They're fine-tuning, especially. I mean, the lenses are more or less finished, but the distortion profiles for it is still in the works, and it was not perfect at CES when people tried it, but that was also just on another level. I think it's just beyond you can definitely. There's no way you can ever see any kind of screen door effect or pixelization or any kind of jagged edges on any kind of thin line. With those lenses. And a lot of some people like Brad Lynch and some other YouTubers were like, "Oh, well, I don't like these," but well, you get them for free. Use them or don't. It's just like up to you. If you don't want to use those 42 PPD, then just leave them in the box. It's just completely up to you.
It's crazy that they are also in the box. I mean, I really think that this price is not so super expensive for this what you get. If everything really works, when I haven't seen the Wi-Fi yet and all the standalone stuff, and I haven't even seen the controllers yet.
Fiber optics cable too.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
but is it going to be 2 batteries or 1? Because I think in my interview, the CEO said one battery, but on your website it says 2. So
I asked you told me 2.
You know, that morning you had that interview, I woke up a little bit later, and I didn't join that live stream. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised myself that it was all of a sudden it was one battery. That's still in discussion. I don't know. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed yet. I would say personally, I think it's obvious thing we should go with 2 batteries.
2 would be better, right? Because hot swap.
Because of the hot swap, yes, and it's also the fact, and also the fact that it takes around 1.5-2 hours to charge the battery, which can be done externally with the adapter included. So you can basically hot swap them to charge the other one, and then swap them in between. You can just go on all day long with 2 batteries. So I really hope we reconsider that, but I'm not 100%. And on the other hand, I don't think those batteries will be super expensive either. I don't think it's going to be. I don't know the price of them yet, but that's something. 2 batteries is a must, I would say. Either way,
that would be better. That would be great. Yeah. So I just saw the question in the chat. What do you need to run this? So on the Roadshow in Dortmund, we had like those beast machines, 4090, blah, blah, blah. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I had to send them back, unfortunately.
That was great.
But they were good. So what is the minimum, the real minimum GPU that you would say, okay, you can really, really enjoy the Crystal?
I would say, I'm going to be completely honest here. Don't go for anything below 3070.
Even 70 is okay. Cool.
Yeah, 3070 is still okay. You can still play Half-Life Alyx, games like that. You probably won't get the best frame rate in Microsoft Flight Simulator or some of these more demanding Assetto Corsa Competition, those simulators. But a 3070 is very capable of running the Crystal in those, the average VR game. Then, of course, you can fine-tune that. The beauty of the Crystal, which wasn't really the beauty of the 8KX, is that you can run the Crystal even on a slightly lower resolution, and it's still going to look amazingly sharp. For some reason, I don't know if the algorithm has completely changed or something. For sure it has, but I don't know what they did, but they did something, because I was testing the Crystal at the resolution of like 2500 times 2000, something like that, which is below the native resolution, including the overhead for the distortion profiles, and it still looks super sharp. So just because you buy a Crystal doesn't mean that you really have to run it in a native resolution. The screen door effect will still be gone because of the panels, of course, the panel resolution. The game resolution itself, either you can compensate that with some TAA or anti-aliasing or some other filters in game. So a 3070 is a minimum. You could probably go even lower, but I wouldn't recommend that if you really want to enjoy games in 90 or especially 120 frames per second, which I think is the new norm.
Right.
But at CES, we had no 4090s running at CES. We had one 4090 graphic card at CES, but for some reason we struggled with that card in 2 different pieces we tested. It probably just got too beaten up during the entire roadshow, so I don't know if it's broken or something. But so we ended up using one 3090, 2 pieces worth 3080s, and one of the pieces worth 3070, and all of them performed perfectly. And so yeah, I wouldn't say that you don't need a 4090 to play around with the Crystal. I'm not going to comment about the 12K yet. I mean, when it comes to performance, and so obviously that's a headset that's going to require more of your PC. But Crystal, no, that's not a problem. And of course, it all depends on what you play.
Of course. We have a question here from Scott Grant. Does Crystal run forever with a cable and one battery?
That's the goal. Yes, that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah, right now. Or do you mean in PSVR mode, right?
In PSVR mode, obviously. Yeah. Yes, right.
Yes, right. I don't know how far the Shanghai team has come or the engineer has come in in the final batch of these units, but it's supposed to be running with the cable only and one battery. But I don't know, because during the roadshow, during the CES, we didn't have the final cable. We were using the 8KX cable, or the same cable that the 8KX and the 8K Plus are using, which did not provide enough of power to the headsets. So we had to swap the battery like every 3 or 3.5 hours. I think we swapped the batteries 2 times on each headset during an entire day at CES. So that brings me to believe it's like 3-4 hours of gameplay on. But still, that's not how it's supposed to be, and I totally assume that's going to be fixed like very soon with a new cable. But then I'm not updated about that topic 100%, so I'm not sure if that's the case right now. But obviously, it's what how it's supposed to be eventually.
Okay. Great. Yeah, okay, cool. So I see some interest in the chat. Like Norman before said, okay, because of this interview here, he just paid the $30 to reserve the crystal. So yeah, cool.
Congrats, great. Man. You're gonna love
it. And he also says, he asks, are you going to make controllers that track themselves, like the Quest Pro? I suppose no, right? This is
maybe, but on the other hand, why? I don't see the purpose of it. I mean, something I do miss with these controllers is like finger tracking. But if you really, really need that, you can still use your valve in the controllers, and that faceplate you get for like $100 if you're a Pimax former Pimax user, or $200 or so if you just buy it for the first time, buy a Pimax for the first time. So I don't think we should focus too much on the controllers, and that's why I'm super happy that we went with the Qualcomm reference design for the controllers, which is basically the same controller as the Oculus Quest, and it just works. It just doesn't have to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you don't need to reinvent the wheel if it works.
Right,
that's what I would say.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time and a lot of efforts on our own sword controllers, which eventually didn't turn out as we were hoping for because of the struggles with thumbstick and stuff. And I guess it was a little bit of a waste of time. And I think we learned from that mistake.
Yeah.
So it's better that we keep focusing on pushing the limits with the headsets. We also have the 12K, of course, in development, which is like priority number one, right? As soon as the Crystal is launched, and we got to finish the 12K, of course, to get that out as well. So there's way more important things to take care of rather than new controllers.
Got it.
I've got a question, if I may.
Yeah,
at
sure.
the Go ahead. I tried the controllers, and thanks to you, I even managed to try Beat Saber, and it was better than what Kevin was kind of describing to me, and the team wouldn't even let me try the controllers when I came to the roadshow. And this time I could play games like the flight, some kind of a flight sim game, so it worked perfectly fine. It only didn't work if you were like a competitive Beat Saber player where accuracy is everything. So I did the ultimate test, and it was not 100%. And I think either you or Kevin said that the controllers at the time at the CES were already about 80%.
Yeah, that's correct.
Has there been any progress since then, or is it still something that you're planning to complete within the next month or two?
The progress we just made right now is on the software side. The hardware itself is finished already. They're already in mass production right now, so that's not the problem. It's about the algorithms and the improvements of the software firmware part, which is basically being improved every day. I mean, we saw the big difference between the controller tracking back in November, and then in December, and then in January at CES. Back in November at VR Berlin, we showed the controllers for like 2 days, and then we stopped. All of a sudden, we just didn't demo the controllers anymore because we had so many issues with the software and connection with them, and pairing. Everything was just screwed up at that point. But then a couple of weeks later, all of that just worked, and now at CES, people were just playing just like normally without any problems.
Yeah.
Having that said, it's still not perfect, but they are really working hard on that part to finish it up, because we know how important it is.
And what is the battery life currently on it? Is it still about 2 hours, or is it more?
No. The battery on the controller is supposed to be between 4.5 hours of battery life. The 2 hours was back on the Roadshows. They had a new algorithm put in, or some new firmware with some new algorithm stuff, which basically doubled the battery life, and that was already set for CS. It was actually it was amazing. We never really ran out of battery at CS with the controllers. We only had like 4 pairs of these 100% updated working controllers, and they all worked fine during the entire show for 4 days, and they never run out of battery. Of course, we were charging them from time to time, right? But the battery life was really good. I would say at least 4 hours of constant usage, basically.
Okay. So about the controllers as well. So you're using that Qualcomm reference model. So it means basically out of the box, this model is not so good. yeah, right. I mean, like, if it was, then you wouldn't have just 80% right now.
No, I mean, the hardware itself is perfect, but it's the software implementation. But we're doing something. We have to remember that Pimax is doing something that no other company has done so far. We're using standalone controllers for PSVR natively. We're not streaming this. We're basically taking this
it's different
tracking data through the Snapdragon processor.
PC. Okay.
Yeah. So we had to
totally get it. It's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, Oculus haven't done this. We haven't just ripped off Oculus and taken their algorithms. We had to make our own algorithms from start to make all that work. The whole pipeline has to be rewritten completely to get that working with PCVR. For the standalone parts, that's probably easier, because Qualcomm can help us much more, because obviously that's what the controllers were made for in the first place, standalone VR.
Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, it's I would guess we're like 85-90% in by now. Now, of course, we have the Chinese holiday for another 7-10 days or so. So yeah, everything is on basically on hold right now, but I know the team was working hard until like Friday night. Was it yesterday? They were like they refused to stop working before they went on vacations. I know they're completely dedicated into finishing.
Much respect to your team. If anything, you are such hard workers.
Thank you. I mean, I'm in those chat groups. We have like a communication channel with all those groups with engineers and stuff, and I see photos all the time, and they're like, I think they were there until like midnight, just still working on Friday night. I mean, they're midnight. In Shanghai, and all of them were there, like including Robin, because you have to remember, like, Robin, the founder of this company, is there all the time with them. It's not like a couple of engineers working on something. The entire team is there, basically trying to make sure that everything runs as it's supposed to. If it doesn't, they're trying to fix it, and it's just complete dedication right now, because we have a deadline. I mean, we're promising people to start to ship these headsets and controllers, the whole Crystal package, sometime right after Chinese New Year, which is going to happen because we are already producing them. So yeah, we have to just make all that to work as good as possible. It's never going to be perfect. No, don't expect things to work 100% at launch, because it never does. It never did
Pimax.
It's not only Pimax, it's VR. I mean, look at Quest. I mean, look at Pico 4. Anything. It's never going to be 100% perfect. There's always something.
Right. It always gets better and better after firmware updates. That's for sure.
Indeed. As long as the hardware is as good as it can be, then the problem is just minimized by just doing some small OTA or over-the-air updates, or just normal firmware updates, which will fix it. Same thing for the eye tracking. I mean, we still haven't demoed the eye tracking for in public, because of the struggles and the small delays and stuff. I don't know the whole story about why it's delayed and so But Tobii is working really hard on the features, and there are like 4 different features. It's not only the auto IPD, it's also the DFR, it's a eye blinking gesture thing, and then some 4th feature. So there are like 4 features that are going to be ready at launch. As soon as we get the firmware, it's going to just work with the hardware, which is already inside of those headsets.
But I think the Tobii engineers are not working until midnight in Sweden. That's
not right now. Probably not right now. And they also, I mean, they're humans as well, and they had their Christmas vacation and holidays for at least 2 weeks and so. So
I think Tobii is a fantastic company, though. Super professional and really great. One of the best VR companies.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so happy to be able to work with them, that Pimax is actually working with Tobii this time with the eye tracking, because that gives us so much more possibilities and also way better support and better hardware in general when it comes to eye tracking and software support and software updates, which I really believe Tobii can make some great things with.
Cool.
Can you remind us of the launch date of Crystal?
I just want to ask, when are they when are they going out? Because I had the interview with the CEO and with Kevin, right? And they said like the first 200 devices are going out in this month, in January, end of January. So is it happening?
That's a little bit confusing to me, because what I heard, I know Kevin said that to me as well, but I heard something else, which was right after the Chinese New Year celebration or holiday. And I know that a small batch is going first in domestic in China, and then like a part of the first batch, or like the entire second batch, is going to Europe and United States. Going to be split up depending on the order of pre-orders and so. But I would say after Chinese New Year, a week after or something.
Nothing happens. Anyways, you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I have photos of like hundreds of like big boxes of crystals being ready at the factory of 2 of these factories, I think. And I've seen the manufacturer line thing, even some videos of it, which I'm not even able to show. I'm not allowed to show all that, but there are many of them made already, like in the hundreds and hundreds, I think. So I think it's all about the fact that the Shanghai team has to get back to work after the holiday, and then things will wrap up. So So yeah, I don't have
February.
It's somewhere here in February, in the early February.
Nice.
Let's say great. A week after. Let's say in 2 weeks from now or something.
Will test units for loaners also be included in that first batch?
Sorry, didn't catch it. Which ones?
The loaner units or test units, will they be also included in that first batch?
That's what I've been opting for. We also have not only, I mean, we have a lot of KOLs like YouTubers. We also have 15 testers that are gonna. We already have decided which testers, and so they're gonna get their headsets. And I think we have at least like 20 or 25 YouTubers that are gonna get them, including you guys, of course. And that's gonna be pretty early in February as well. I mean, that's our goal. We want to get those out.
Gonna make some
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is going to reach me earlier, the Crystal or the PSVR2? Perhaps perhaps the Crystal. Oh my goodness, this is going to be exciting. Woohoo!
We'll see. Yeah, but in the end, it's all about which is better, right?
Yeah, well, they are really 2 different beasts.
They're the 2 different things.
I'm sure I'm going to love the PSVR2 for the content and all the good stuff. Yeah. And the Crystal, I will love it most probably for the PCVR enthusiast, super highest resolution, everything.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. No, I'm looking forward to both of them, like for different reasons, but with equal excitement.
Exactly. So how about the modules? Like we have the faceplate that you showed us, which seems to be working great, right? You showed it at CES, which I had not. And okay, great.
It weighs. I put it on a scale today. It's like 68 grams. So that's nothing. It feels like a piece of plastic.
Wow.
It's a small
so
chip.
You slap
there
it on,
and,
and then it's
inside.
just the Steam VR headset, and everything is working already.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Tetiana can testify that it worked.
Yeah. How was it, Tetiana? Exactly. I have not really asked you about your experience.
Did I try the Steam VR though?
I think you did. You did play the Half-Life Alyx as well. The Half-Life Alyx station was with.
Did I? Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember because that was with the 42 PPD.
Nope, that was on the right side of the. I mean, the flight simulator was on the left side, and then the Half-Life Alyx was on the right side.
I did not try them. I think I didn't try that. I think I spent like over an hour in your booth because we were talking about so many things and taking pictures and trying it. And I think I just had to like leave at some point. That's the one thing I didn't get to try. I was at the left side of the station, so I was trying one of the flight sims and the Beat Saber one. And then I tried the 42 PPD. Yeah. That's the only thing I didn't get to try, actually.
Yeah, I must say the faceplate or the front plate for the lighthouse, it just works. I would say it's just like playing any other headset with. Even, I mean, Brad Lynch, the Sadly's Bradley. Yeah, and also what is it called again? Jeez, Thrill Seeker. And many other YouTubers, all of them just said it just works like any other lighthouse VR headset.
Perfect.
There were no flaws detected at all.
Okay, that's great to hear.
I have one unit here as well. I've been testing from day to day here, and it works.
And when can we buy it?
That's a good question. I think that's going to be something that's going to be announced right after Chinese New Year. That we're going to announce accessories. Yeah, I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to make up any kind of dates or any kind of any kind of February.
Well, it's a great information that we will hear about it soon, and that's actually it works. Yeah. That's already fair enough. Exactly.
I mean, we have other accessories such as the WiGig module. We have. I just want to ask,
how about the WiGig module? That's also something that's interesting. Is it working or?
It is working. I've only seen it working in 90 hertz so far, and we were supposed to actually show it at CES, but then it turned out that I don't know if it's interference, occlusion, or something just completely screwed it up. CES is a very special place for things like that. There's like millions of different radio waves and stuff going around.
Yeah. That's why I was quite impressed with, when HTC managed to pull off the wireless thing. Maybe it saved them that they were in the hotel and not like in the heart of the action. But yeah, I completely understand. And it's good that you like still had, the wired, ensure that you have the highest quality. So it's just,
I mean, that's the power of, I mean, native PSVR with the cable will always be the number one thing still, I would say. Even though we have WiGig and we have Wi-Fi 6E and all those streaming possibilities, and WiGig will be a great solution for sure. Although it is a little bit limited with the bandwidth, so we won't be able to play on the Crystal in 160 hertz and native resolution on the WiGig. Of course, that's obvious. I mean, there's no bandwidth for that. So if you really want to strive for the best image quality and resolution, of course you want to go with the cable. But WiGig does work, but it's still, I would say that's one of those accessories that will need another 1 or 2 months until that's fine-tuned. And so, especially in the firmwares, and there are still some minor issues I've seen and some other issues I've heard from the Shanghai team that they have encountered. So,
okay. So how about
it's not easy. I mean, there are companies who's been working on those WiGig solutions for like years, and it's good, but it's not perfect yet.
And do you already have the price point for the WiGig module and the lighthouse? I think you said around $100 US for the lighthouse, or
I remember, didn't we ask you what you think about the price and what the price would be? I remember I think we asked you.
That was not for the lighthouse. I think that was for the wireless thing, and I said,
wireless. Yeah.
I really lowballed you.
And you're like $50 or something. Like, yeah.
Oh, well, you always shoot for a lower and then you negotiate.
That's true. That's how a businesswoman does it, right? No, the lighthouse front plate, I think it's going to be $199 if you are not a Pimax owner. That's what I remember from previous announcements and some internal information. But I think it's going to be cheaper if you are a Pimax owner since before, or if you pre-order. Yeah, let's wait until the Chinese New Year is over, and then we'll get all the information cleared out. I don't want to promise anything wrong here and then get blamed for it afterwards.
Okay, that makes sense. I have another question about wireless. So you don't need that WiGig module. You could still use your Wi-Fi 6, right? You use your Wi-Fi. Does it also work already?
The Wi-Fi 6E wireless will take more time, I think. I think the first thing we're going to see is the WiGig module being... I mean, the Wi-Fi 6E is already built in, but the implementation, the software implementation, it's going to need some more time. Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, and that also going to limit the quality as well, more than the WiGig does. There's some technical difficulties with that technology. So I mean that interface. So yeah, if you really want to go,
I think for me,
give it a couple more months.
For me, it's more about the cable and the best quality. That's for me what the device is about. But still, it would be.
I mean, you said in the beginning, that Crystal is just maybe the first Pimax headset that can actually, blew away the entire industry. And I totally agree, but we have to focus on the fundamental parts first to get them 100% right, like the image quality, those things with the cable and the eye tracking. So all those things are 100% or at least 95%. And then we can, start to focus on the extra modules and accessories. I mean, I think that we have to prioritize. Remember, Pimax is still a company which is we're not Sony, we're not Microsoft. We were still quite a small team, and I mean, in comparison with many other companies, even HTC is way bigger than us. So of course we have to limit. We have a lot of different teams working on different parts.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So not sim racing junkie says, for me, this is a good wired device for sim racing, and I believe many sim racers and sim flyers, they will just think like this and use the cable. Makes sense.
Yeah, there's no reason to play wirelessly at all if you're just going to sit down and play it for 8 hours, Microsoft Flight Simulator or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense. So of course. But I think this time we can actually target a way bigger audience than just enthusiasts.
I have a good feeling about it. Yeah. Really have it. You too, Tetiana, right? So I think they have a winner there. They really have something. They have a winner now. They can make it happen now.
I specifically asked Kevin about setting up this headset for playing different games and whether it also requires special profiles and very individual approach to setting up each game, which was a pain and required more higher level knowledge of tech, that like 8KX. And I think both you and Kevin said that you swap one kind of setting works for all games flawlessly. Yeah. And that was, I think, the biggest turn off point for me with 8KX, just how hard it was to make it work. And with that gone, it has much higher chances now becoming this really exciting device for all, not just for enthusiasts.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need to have different profiles for every single game, although there is a big advantage if that works, which was intended to work with the Pimax VR experience, something me and Armin coded like 1-2 years ago. At that time, the plan was to have every single VR game having its own cloud profile with settings. Once you launch a game through the Pimax VR experience, it automatically changes all the settings for optimal quality or optimal performance, depending on what you prefer. But that project is a little bit, on hold right now, Pimax VR experience, since like more than a year ago. because of many reasons. As far as I know, we're going to continue on this project pretty soon again, this spring and summer. So there is going to be an option to have cloud-based profiles and stuff like that for the Crystal for PCVR games, but it's definitely not necessary. But on the other hand, you have to still remember that this is a PCVR headset, which is high-end after all, high resolution, high demands, pretty high demands on the graphic card, of course. So, of course, there will always be, to a certain degree, there will always be some setting management you'll have to do. I mean, if you play Beat Saber, it basically doesn't matter what settings you have, it's still going to run pretty fine. But then you turn on the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then at that point you realize that you're going to have to spend like an hour, not only with the Pimax sets, it's probably going to be like 2 minutes to set up, but the game itself, to optimize it for that high resolution, for the optimal quality, for the optimal experience, of course that's going to take time. Every single PCVR headset is like that, just like the Vario Aero. I mean, just because the Vario Aero has a nice interface. I mean, the Vario, what is it called? Vario Home? No, it's called something Base. Vario Base, right? The software for Vario. I mean, just because that looks slick and all that, it doesn't mean that the headset is plug and play. It's far from that, because it's still a PCVR headset. You still have to change settings to adapt it to your graphic card, unless you run like the 4090 overclocked. Then you can maybe get away with one setting for all games, but you're still going to have to tinker a little bit to get the optimal performance. And that's something that most, I think, PCVR users are already used by now. Ever since the HTC Vive days or Oculus Rift days, we always had to change some settings to optimize.
Agree.
But it's no longer a big hassle to set up things, and that's what we are targeting for. We want to be able to do it almost a plug and play experience. At least it's never going to be plug and play on a PC. It's never going to be. It's the same thing if you just play on a monitor on your PC. If you play like I don't know what, any kind of GPU demanding game, you're still going to have to go through the settings for like 10 minutes or so to really get that running perfectly on your PC until you're satisfied. And
it's really normal for PCVR, and that's why so many people are looking forward for PSVR2, where it's not like this. But like if you want more, then you have to go to PCVR. It's totally fine, right? Everyone, the thing that they like best.
Yeah. But it sounded a lot less overwhelming than the settings that you would have to do at like 8KX. Okay. So that will pretty much be a good news for new users.
Here's the thing with 8KX. The 8KX and the other wide field, ultra wide field of view headsets like the 5K Super, the 8K Plus, and the previous generation, the parallel projection setting, on and off, when you turn it on, you basically lost like 20%, even 30% of your performance, because you had to render like 25% extra pixels in total, which was a massive performance hog, so to say. Now with the Crystal, when you're turning on, a lot of people are actually asking about this, so I may just answer this while I'm at it.
About the canted displays, right?
Yeah, they are still canted, but they're not as canted, and the parallel projection adds just like 3% more pixels or something, which is just nothing. A couple of hundred more pixels or something, which is really, you won't notice that on the performance side. I've done so many testings with this. I'm not going to tell you the exact resolution ratios between the parallel projection on and off, but it's basically like you can you could potentially just turn on parallel projection and leave it on like that forever and never touch it, because it makes basically no difference in performance wise. And then it also supports all games.
Perfect. So how strongly are those displays canted?
Good question. 5% or something. It's way less than the 8KX was, or the previous generation of headsets.
So I can remember. My light just went off. Yeah, it's a battery. So we're talking already since 2 hours and 30 minutes. So
oh, you're running on battery.
yeah, this is just running out of battery. These
is it
also
hot swappable? Can you hot swap?
I think you might see mine. I think you might see mine go off soon too, because it's been going on.
Are you all running on batteries? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, right.
Who needs cables across the room?
yeah. Okay, so yeah, the index, the Valve index, is also a bit canted. Actually, that's what I heard, but a little bit only. So probably. So that's probably then comparable.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Nobody's really talking about the paraprojection on Valve Index because it's always on. It's always enabled. And even though it reduces the performance maybe by 3 or 5%, it's something that most people don't care about or don't even know about. And that's where we're going to do this. We are doing the same thing with the Crystal. If you really need those extra 2-3% in performance, you can turn off paraprojection, but it's really not required. You gain basically nothing from doing that. So just leave paraprojection on and it's going to work fine. I mean, it's going to provide you the same clarity, same image and sharpness and all that.
Okay, wow. I think a lot of people are also very excited now about the Crystal. Not just Tetiana and me and Martin. That's amazing.
We all got them excited.
So we are very, very much looking forward to it. I'm super looking forward to try it out and to tell people what I think about it. So that's going to be amazing. I also read some questions, obviously, about the 12K, which is even like more FOV, more than the Crystal. How is that going?
It's going well. The biggest hurdle right now is the eye tracking implementation of the 12K. In the 12K, it's Tobii eye tracking as well, and that's where the most work is done right now. The lenses are still being fine tuned, but that's not the big problem. Same thing with the panels. There's still some small adjustments made to the distortion profiles. And there were a couple of YouTubers, I think including Tetiana, which did try a headset, which more or less is based on the 12K lenses, more or less. It's not really 100% 12K lenses, but it's more or less like that, providing a field of view of around 200 degrees horizontally. So
okay, cool.
The 12K will need more time. You didn't see, Tetiana, you didn't see the 12K. That was not the 12K. That was something else.
That's what they told.
Yeah, that was a prototype of something else. But anyway,
I signed NDA and everything.
More
Pimax
headsets are coming. Oh my goodness.
Don't
do too many, please. Please don't do too many.
I didn't
just
say that.
Like 1 or 2.
I didn't say that. It was just an in-house sample of something which is very close to the 12K kind of, but not the same. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's not that far off, but I wouldn't expect the 12K to be out until like late summer or something. That's just to be. I don't want to give people too much hopes, and I don't want to disappoint anyone. I mean, all I can say is that the 12K is coming. It's really in works. It does really exist.
It exists. And, that's all I can say. I'm pretty certain that it exists.
Right, but it's going to take a few more months until we see the daylight of it. As soon as we can start to show it, and there's going to be a road show or a couple of road show around this during the summer, probably with the 12K, even earlier, maybe. Who knows? Okay. But yeah, it's not going to be something for February, that's for sure, or March or so.
And are you excited about it? Like, I know you're excited about the Crystal like me, but what is the feeling? Should people be excited about the 12K even more? And should they not go for the Crystal and rather for the 12K QLED? Or what are your thoughts? Is there anything that you could share about this?
You know, here's the thing. The Crystal brought me so much of, improvements over the past generation. So I'm not as hungry after the 12K right now as I was like a half a year ago.
That makes sense. That's a good answer.
Yeah, because right now I do have the 35, even 42 PPD lenses. I do have the clarity, the QLED panels, the local dimming. All of that is just there, and I mean, of course, yeah, I have it on my desk here, right? Like a whole bunch of these headsets, actually, different versions. I mean, different iterations. But the thing is getting shipped like anytime, and I think that I don't think anyone will be disappointed with the Crystal. Although the 12K takes it to the next level with the field of view.
Okay, yeah,
So it's
right,
not gonna,
right.
yeah. When it comes to the image quality, it's not going to be any revolutionary difference between Crystal and the 12K. It's basically going to be the same PPD.
Well, if you can make the crystal clarity on that wide field of view, all right.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely going. Yeah, that's I mean that's exactly what it's going to be. But on the other hand, since you already have the 120/125 degrees on the horizontal side on the Crystal, what you get with the 12K is basically like, what is it, like 80 degrees more, like let's say 40 degrees extra on each side. And of course the lens profiles and the lenses are way more improved than they were with the 8KX and the previous headsets. But
but there will still be, would there be distortions, right?
No, here's the thing, distortions. The problem with the distortion is that we haven't had distortions on the 8KX ever since like 2 years ago. What was left of the 8KX was the blur, which happened on the peripheral
because
view.
of the same lenses. Agreed. Yes.
Yeah, the lenses were just limiting the view. Like after like 140 degrees, it started to blur out a little bit. That's what people still today call distortion. Now, this is something that we have improved with the 12K, or the prototypes I've seen on the 12K. And so it's never going to be 100% perfect until the edge of the 200 degrees, because I mean, just look to the edge of your view right now. It's not sharp over there, right? You can barely see that. You can barely read anything on that side. But it's way better than it was on the 8KX. And so that's what you get with the 12K, and some more sensors. I think is like lip tracking and some other things. But it's a crystal with a wider field of view.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like, the Crystal is the Audi and then the 12K is the Bentley, which many people make it sound like. I would say they're both Bentleys, but the Crystal just has, I mean, the 12K has better rims.
Well, I'd rather go for the Audi, for the German car, by the way. So.
True. Yeah.
So I'd rather both be Audis.
Indeed. No, I agree. Now, so I would say expect a way higher, a wider field of view on the 12K, which with much better distortion profile and much more, bigger sweet spot than the 8KX. But it's more or less a Crystal with the wide field of view. It's that's why I'm not as super excited as I was like a year ago, because back then I didn't even know how the Crystal is going to look. Now I see it. Now I have it here. So but that's just me. I mean, that's my honest opinion. I'm just saying, like, as
I know,
and
I know that lots of people, Pimax fans, are still like excited about the wide field of view, and especially that's why they want to go for the 12K QLED. For me, it was like, okay, it was too much. Please give me something that's a bit more than the Index, and that's exactly what the Crystal is. So I am more excited about the Crystal, but I do get it that that there's lots of people who are excited about the wide FOV. So yeah.
But I completely get like why you said that you're not hungry for more, because like Crystal already delivers so much that it just feels greedy to want better than something that's already feels like the best. I kind of felt I probably feel the same way, because like I was just so excited to see that many of the promises have already been delivered on this headset, and those that haven't, you're actively working on them. So I'm excited to see what this headset's going to do with the VR community, in the coming months. And then step by step, 12K will come. But Crystal is something to be excited about. So I totally get that feeling.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice. And sorry that I'm laughing here, but I think your chair sounds like a seagull or a goose. It's so funny.
It's like an ongoing discussion going on in the chat about geese.
Exactly.
I was trying not to laugh.
You mean my chair or what?
Yes,
I don't know which
chair.
It's
are
my
you
chair,
sure
probably.
chair?
There's something loose on this thing.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I cheaped out on this thing.
It's so funny, and like the people in chat, they are like, "Wow, what is it? Is it a seagull or is it a goose in the background?"
On second thought, it sounds like a goose.
It's just me, guys. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try not to move at all.
No, it's so funny. It's like, oh yeah, you're probably somewhere at the ocean now, and then there's the seagulls in the background.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So
I was hoping nobody heard this actually, but yeah.
No, everyone.
Yeah, very attentive audience. I wouldn't hear that. I wouldn't hear that. Someone is very perceptive.
Oh shit! Sorry, guys.
Yeah, good that we. No. It's fun. It's good. Okay, great. Yeah, good that we have a great time here.
I'm trying not to move. Okay, I'm trying.
No. You can move. It's absolutely okay. Good. Very good. Yeah, you see, Germans can laugh after all.
Yep.
So even at 6 a.m.
Even
6:30 a.m.
for you.
It's nearly 7. It's okay. It's no problem. I'm gonna go for a nice breakfast after this. Yeah, cool. So we've talked about nearly everything. Should we still talk about the Pimax Portal?
Well, I said already quite a lot about I'm doing some tests on it. Here's the thing. Personally, I'm talking as an enthusiast here. Like, let's pretend
you're an enthusiast.
Let's pretend I'm not a Pimax employee for a second. And
you're Martin. You're Sweviver here now.
Yeah, when I first heard about the portal, like more than a year ago, 1.5 years ago, I was like, okay, so why? And
it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, being in the PSVR enthusiast,
that's what we thought too.
Yeah, don't take me wrong. Here's the thing. I've had several different handheld gaming, retro gaming handhelds.
I love this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had the Switch for a while, and I sold it because it wasn't fun anymore. I couldn't find any more games to play, so I just skipped that. But anyway, when I heard about the Portal, I just thought that, like, okay, this is not Pimax. This is just like, okay, why are we doing this? Then they sent me the first sample, which was like just a couple of months ago. And after spending some time with it, I started to realize the potential of it. And now when I've been digging quite deep into it, just tested everything, I've rooted some of the devices and overclocking and installed everything, playing Switch games on it and all those emulators and, all the crap you can do on this device. I really started to realize that this is actually the most powerful thing available right now on an Android platform. First of all, there's nothing out there which has the same performance right now as a handheld, as an Android handheld. I'm not talking about those, those super expensive PCs.
Steam Deck, right.
Even the other ones, the Next Player, whatever they're called, they're like $1,500 or something. They cost more than the Crystal, Here's the thing: there's so much you can do on this device, and I love the fact that it's a 4K screen, which allows us to do VR. Of course, it's standalone VR. It's going to require some time for us to build a platform, to build a library, but we are also going to support PSVR streaming, even through WiGig, which is basically a native streaming image. So I see crazy amount of potential in this thing, which I never thought about before. Now the QLED technology on the QLED portal is just the same thing basically as the Crystal. I actually posted a short clip on that on my Twitter like yesterday, I think, which shows the difference.
That looked so cool. I love that tweet though.
It's crazy good, and it's not only for VR, but even for like normal handheld gaming. It just makes those colors just pop, and the blacks are perfect if you play like some kind of Resident Evil game or something like Silent Hill, which is like super dark in some scenarios. It just really looks spectacular. And then on top of the VR part, on top of that, you also have the Pimax XL, which some people actually saw at the CES,
which is like another crazy idea.
Which is basically like the Steam Deck, the size of the Steam Deck with that big screen, and I just got in love with that thing. I was like, oh, wow, if I can attach my Portal into this and play all those games or stream games from my PC and all the things I already do right now with the Portals, I think I love it. It's just crazy. I never thought I would say this like today. I never thought, like, let's say 3-4 months ago, I never thought I would love the handheld device as much as I do. It has completely replaced all the other things I've been using in the past for emulations, for a thing. And I must admit that the past 2 weeks after CES, I have spent more time with the Portal than I have with the Crystal. For some reason, it just brought... Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I can't believe it, man. It's crazy, man.
I know. I have like 1, 2. I have like 3, 4 crystals over here. Like
casual. It's more casual. You can play with it and
I have like 1, 2, 3. I have like, I don't know how many, 5 Portals here, because I do a lot of different tests and stuff.
We need to do an intervention. Pimax Portal.
Yeah, but the Portals are just giving me some kind of, I don't know, satisfaction when I'm just using them. I don't know. I love those retro games. I love being able to play Switch games on this thing. With that kind of quality, I've never played like a game like Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild in such a quality with the QLED technology. It's just, I think it's mind-blowing in that small.
So like the Switch games, they can be played like without a hiccup?
Yes, not every game. I would say that. Here's the thing. This is a sensitive topic. I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about it. Okay. And there are emulators for this, and there are two kinds of emulators. There's one which is called Skylink. I think it's called. It's still in development, in early development. That emulator doesn't support that many games yet, but it's a huge open source community. Everyone loves that emulator, and it's great. Now, there is a second emulator, which is called EggNS, which is a Chinese emulator, which is not free, and it requires internet. So you are still connected all the time when you're playing. To be able to even launch the games, you have to be connected to internet. People just hate it. Everyone just hate that emulator because, so there were some rumors that emulator stole some code from the PC Switch emulator, the Yuzu. So that's why people just refuse to use that emulator. But I gotta say, that emulator actually plays like 80% of the Switch library on this thing. And I would say like at least 60-70% of it plays perfectly fine, either in 30 or 60 frames per second, depending on what the game really runs at. So yeah, you can actually play it. And,
it's
and all the other...
like for me, it's not about like stealing the games, because I do own them on the Switch. Yeah. Probably then it's allowed, probably, I guess.
Yeah,
and who knows? Anyways, so it's
interesting. Emulation is a very sensitive topic because some people think it's piracy, and that's why I don't want to push it too much.
Well, it can be piracy. It can be if you don't own the stuff. Right?
It can be, yeah, but according to some people, emulation will always be piracy, which is just I don't think I do not agree to that. If you own a device, if you own the game, you should be allowed to back up your own games, or even download the same game to just play it, because you already have paid for it, right? But that's not the case if you ask a lot of people. So that's why it's a topic we shouldn't even discuss here. But yes, if you just answer your question, yes, you can play the majority of Switch games.
Okay.
Perfectly fine. And especially if you overclock this thing, because as I said before, you can bump up the performance like 40 up to 50% extra just by overclocking it. Now, here's the thing. Right now, it's still all in debug mode. We're testing these. That's why I have so many of these. I have even rooted some of these devices to be able to overclock it. Now the whole point is that people are not supposed to root their portals. It's just not necessary, and it's also dangerous, and I mean, to some degree, right? So that's why what we're trying to achieve is to be able to simply overclock the device, like have different profiles for performance, or like, you know, ridiculous performance setting, some kind of Diablo setting, like the new phones have, the Snapdragon Gen 2 phones have that. So the user can actually overclock with one simple press of a button, and they get the max performance out of the XR2 processor and the Adreno 650 GPU.
But okay, cool. That's cool. Like for the part where this is a handheld console, I have no objections. I think it's great. I'm just wondering, like for the VR mode, who do you think is that for? It's not for us enthusiasts, right? It's more for who is it?
I think it's hard to say actually at this point, because we still are, I mean, in the beginning of building the library of games. It depends. If we can get the PSVR streaming, which we are partially testing right now as well, if that turns out to be flawless, then we can seriously compete with the Oculus Quest 2 and in other platforms.
For the stream. Okay.
Yeah.
Even with better blacks.
Yeah, especially since we can also provide WiGig streaming, which is way better than anything, you know, Quest Link can do or so. But then we have that library of games, which will always probably be a step behind Meta. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. We won't.
Sure.
So I don't know. I don't think we are able to, you know, pull out every single Quest owner and just like, hey, this is Portal. Try this. This is better. It looks better, which it does actually. In VR mode, it actually looks better than the Quest 2 for sure, especially with the QLED panel. But I think there is a big market for this. I think there's a huge audience for standalone VR, especially in this kind of package where you can actually do more than just VR. So a lot of those retro gamers, a lot of those handheld gamers could potentially buy the Portal for their handheld gaming, but then also they can, you know, pay a little bit more extra to get the VR headset, and then they can play their own. There's pancake games even in VR, which is adds another level, another dimension to their handheld experience.
Okay, so actually, it has potential. I'm looking forward to try out more, just like Tetiana probably, right, about the Portal. And let's check it out.
I tried it for just a little bit because of the lack of time at CES, and the major thing, like the difference and improvement I've noticed compared to the Roadshow, was that the motion blur thing was completely gone. It was pretty much unusable because of this in the VR mode when I was at the Roadshow, just because every time you move your head, everything kind of these like double vision, very blurry, and it was just not there anymore. So that was very promising.
Okay, cool. Yeah, looking forward to check it out. When are you going to send out the first devices?
Good question. Let's wait with that after Chinese New Year again. To confirm that. I mean, we gotta remember this was a Kickstarter. It's going to be available on the website pretty soon as well. We're even going to allow this thing to be sold for like $299, like the early bird price, at least for a while on the website. So, but when the shipping is made, I don't know. And I think still we have some stuff to be done, especially the software part. I mean, the hardware is basically finished as it is. I mean, there's nothing they really need to improve here, I think. But the software part definitely needs some more work. The launcher and also the VR support, of course, and some other aspects. So some of these features I just mentioned with the overclocking, we want to be able to have, like, we want to make it a gaming oriented device. This is not only a VR device. It's an all-in-one VR device. I mean, all-in-one gaming device. So, you know, those small things like an on-screen display with some frame rate counters and, you know, and the overclocking capabilities, some settings, profiles and stuff like that. It's all something that should be in there.
I think there will be an audience. There will be an audience for this as well, especially at the price point.
Yeah, I actually spend a lot of time with Russ from Retro Game Corps, which is one of the biggest handheld device YouTubers out there. He has like 250,000 subscribers or something.
Okay.
And he was very impressed with the device. He's getting one device now after this weekend sometime. And what he saw so far, he was super impressed about it. And that also gives me some hope, because if a guy like that actually sees the potential in it, I mean, he has basically every single handheld device.
Okay.
But still, Portal is something he definitely opts for. And I mean, when it comes to Android, it's still the most powerful device right now. If you're not counting in smartphones, of course, which cost like 2, 3, 4, 5 times more. Of course, I mean, like.
And I did like the hardware, like the magnetic stuff is so well thought out through.
It's
I
great.
really like that
It's
part.
great.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's a little bit non-Pimax, when it's just like it's just
yes.
no,
Like,
I mean,
okay, worked great.
No, I'm not saying that, but the finish of it and everything is just so.
Yeah, it
just feels so
it,
high quality.
it could be a Switch. When I saw it, that was my first feeling, right? It could be a Switch, just with a better magnetic thing idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, cool. Yeah, wow, what an amazing episode today. We talked like for nearly 3 hours. I didn't expect that. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for being here for so long.
Yeah,
all of us.
That was a lot to cover.
I thank all of us.
Great guest.
Sebastian, can I just add one thing? There's been a lot of thanks. There's been a lot of questions throughout these 3 hours, and we're gonna capture them all. I mean, we're gonna note down all these questions, and sometime next week, there's gonna be a Q&A, probably on video, which Pimax is gonna do. Yeah, probably on Pimax YouTube channel.
Pimax.
Where maybe me and Josh together, or just me. I'm going to go through a lot of these questions and just answer them. So I apologize. I'm not able to answer a lot of these questions when it comes to the technology, local dimming, stuff like that. I've noted down some of these things, but we can always backtrack all these questions from this live stream. And then we're going to try to cover most of it, if not all of it.
Yeah. Perfect. Also, you already covered so many questions in this 3-hour live stream, and I think the community is really happy that you came on the show. So again, thanks so much for coming. It was a fantastic show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Oh man, it was fantastic. The time was just flying away. Yeah, so I hope also you out there enjoyed this stream. You over 200 people still. If yes, give it a thumbs up right now and tell the algorithm, yes, I want 3 hours live streams on MRTV to do a deep dive into Pimax Crystal and PSVR2 in the future, and so on and so forth. So give it a thumbs up, and also leave a comment. Probably you still have a question about the Crystal 12K Portal. Leave your question down in the comment section, and Martin is going to read that, right? And then he can take it for his live stream and answer it there. So perfect. Simply do something for the algorithm, do something for the questions for Sweviver's live stream, and do put it there. Yes, that's everything that we got for today's podcast. Really loved it. And if you enjoyed it too, do give it a thumbs up, and also give it a 5-star review on iTunes. Get out your iPad or iPhone, find the podcast app, and do give this a 5-star review. This would be the very best way to say thanks for us for doing that. That's everything that we got for this live stream, and we see each other in the next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're still live right now for a couple of minutes, just to calm down a bit. And wow, that was an amazing stream. Loved it. Great to speak with you, and also with you, Tetiana, of course, with both of you. Loved it.
Yeah. I'm very impressed. So many people were kind enough to stay with us for the whole 3 hours, like over 200 people. Thank you for keeping us all company on the other side.
Right.
Yeah, thanks to everyone.
Yeah. Oh man, I had to keep a straight face because of your of your chair, man. It was so funny.
I can hear it all the time now when you said it. I just hear it all the
time. It really perfectly sounded like a seagull or something.
or
oh my god.
Yeah.
Or like a goose. Yeah. Oh my god. Loved it.
I know.
Yeah, that was a nice little Easter egg for someone who was watching. Will they notice or not?
right.
Funny.
Indeed.
Yeah, so many exciting things going to happen very soon, right? For the VR, for Pimax, for the whole community. Wow, lots of good stuff is coming up, indeed.
Yeah,
I need to really get done with all of this CES stuff so that I'm free for new impressions.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of work with those videos. I mean, there's a lot of.
No, but this is actually great. I love talking to you, and because actually Pimax is the next video in the line from my channel. So the grand recap. So this is actually great because we recapped so much, and some of the things were clarified. So now I don't have to send some clarifications emails anymore because I've got it all right here. If I need anything. So yes. It's coming soon.
Yep.
Great.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to all the good stuff. So that's it now for everyone. Thanks for staying and see you next time. Bye-bye.